So. I'm just gonna get hey, I was in the jumbotron chasing yesterday. Were you really? Heard anything? We're gonna go to the camera and he's like.
Nice, nice. Yeah, we had a great time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was about 78 minutes into the game.
Unbelievable.
Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic and one nation with liberty. All right, I will call the meeting to order, and we do have a forum. Before I make a motion for the approval of the agenda, I would like to add into after the approval and before the board meeting, the motions minutes approval of Steve's resignation and Tom Hayes' resignation. Yeah.
Okay. Tom's is until September.
Right, Tom Hayes, which is the maintenance supervisor, is the effective September 13th.
And he's retiring.
Right, yeah, he is retiring.
I'll make a motion to accept those.
I will second that. Any discussion? All right, I will make a motion for the approval of the agenda with the two additions.
A motion for approval of the agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Nope. All in favor, signify with an aye. All opposed. All right, agenda approved. Real quick, I will announce Steve Jefferson's resignation. I think it was a week ago Friday. He was the vice president, so we will be nominating a new vice president, and we will probably be putting out a need for resumes to fill that board position till September. Tom Hayes, the maintenance supervisor, which I forget how many years did he say? 11 years? 12. That he is retiring in September, but he wanted to give us plenty of notice to get ahead of it and help interview his replacement. So currently there are 2 guys on staff plus Tom, so we will start that process ASAP.
Vote for new vice president.
We can probably, let me get the approval of the board of motions and before unfinished business, and then we'll let the 3 minutes go, and then we'll do it right before the number forward. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the board meeting motions and minutes on March 18th, 2024. Motion.
So moved.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the meeting motions and minutes of March 18th, 2024, signify with an aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Nice when nobody's on the call. I don't have that delay in here. All right, in your packet, there is a link to the YouTube recording from last month. If anybody wants to go to it.
Very good.
All right, I don't know, do we want to make an announcement or make a point out for the vice president yet, or?
Typically, we would. Typically, we would do it with the new board member, but it doesn't have to be.
Well, is there any appointments for vice president?
I'd like to appoint Denny.
Denny, do you accept?
Sure.
Any other appointments?
Kent, I think Jim would be good.
Sure, yeah.
If he's here long term. That's what I'm looking at. Good. Danny, are you here just till September, or are you,
Technically, yes, but.
okay, are you gonna run again? You don't know yet? Okay, okay, I was just thinking long-term, Kent. Okay.
I plan to fulfill my 3-year
You
commitment.
get 3 years.
Any other nominations? All right, so we need some.
Oh, is it paper? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared.
Look out, come. Coming at you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. So I don't have to vote it. Oh, I got the vote. No, I don't.
We need to announce it like they do on the slide.
And my, that's what, yeah, the number or just who-
No, just name whoever.
our new VP is Kit Campbell.
You wanna relocate?
Oh,
Thanks for keeping it clean, gentlemen.
Ken, come on.
oh, you gotta come.
Front and center.
Oh.
What happened?
Unless you wanna sit in the middle.
Danny, thanks for stepping up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Those are appreciated. All right, 3 minutes each. I guess we don't have any of this, Norm?
No, but I wanted to clarify something.
Sure.
Okay, the 3-minute address to the board, the intent was to allow property owners to address the board on agenda items. The property owners have 3 minutes to speak, and we learned from last month that we really do not want conversation back and forth, so there will not be a discussion. But if the board has a question on whatever the property owner is speaking about for clarification, we can do that, but we don't want to have discussion between, it's not open forum. It is a 3-minute time limit where you come and speak whatever you want to speak about to the board. If it's something we're going to vote on or something we have on new business that you want to talk about and give us a heads up on your opinion on something, that's what it's for. If you want to have questions and dialogue, that's for open forum. So we're gonna really try real hard to do the 3 minutes and keep it at that, so that we can keep our meeting shorter.
Any questions? No, I don't think we all do it. Thanks, Billy.
Yep.
Unfinished and new business. So for unfinished business, Rever and city and village questions.
right. I'm gonna read these out loud so they're in the meeting recording, and they are on the official record then. On city and village, most of these questions have already been answered through the January 2023 Mayor newsletter. And also in board meetings towards the end of last year. So here are the questions and answers. Were 3 bids obtained? Will the board share those bids? Yes, city and village bid was 1.4% of collected revenues plus stationery and postage for mailings. Community property management was quote was $1,800 to $3,000 per month. That included a full accounting package plus postage, stationery, and mailings. And the other company was DNI, and they were between $50,000 and $70,000 a year, included the full accounting package plus stationery and postage for mailings. Is there a contract between city and village and the POA? Will this be shared with the community? Yes, there is a contract. No, we will not share the contract publicly. The POA has not been requested to share other contracts with vendors publicly with the community. What's the total cost of using city and village? What's the cost of not using city and village? As I mentioned above, 1.4%. So when we started with city and village last year, we paid $9,398 to them for collection fees plus a one-time implementation fee of $3,000. In addition, we use city to mail the announcement newsletter in February of 2023, and we use them to mail out the lien warning letters. So postage, stationery for all of that was $4,880. I'll answer the other part here. Based on 2024's assessment projections, the cost of city would be $10,850. The justification, again, why we went to city and village, was that at 3 times during 2022, a 4th employee was attempted to be hired in the office, and for whatever reason, they did not work out. The first one time was, and this is the new hire listing off of our payroll for 2022. The first one was hired January 18th, 2022. The next one was hired March 23rd. And that is employee still here. The next one was hired March 29th, 2022. That employee is still here. Then when the first employee didn't work out, the 4th employee was added again on April 19th. And on 22, all these were 22 on it. So we did try to hire an employee throughout 2022 to help with this effort in the office. The cost of the 4th employee with taxes, worker compensation is between $32,000 and $35,000 a year. With no benefits or insurance, the POA is not really competitive in the hiring marketplace. The cost does not include training or additional hours or overtime. Also, at times during the 2022 assessment period, Sue and Joanne were still here, so we had 5 to 6 employees at times in the office. So using city and village saves the POA a minimum of $20,000 per year over the cost of having the employee in-house. Next question, are we losing interest by the city and village using an escrow account? City and village places our collected and deposited funds into an escrow. The POA is in full control of the transfer of the funds to our account. Prior to city and village, the assessment funds went undeposited for weeks to months at a time. It was part of the decision-making process, so there's no inherent loss of interest by using city and village. For example, at the August 2022 board meeting, the treasurer at the time reported there were $270,000 of undeposited assessment checks in the office. Reminder, assessments are due July 1st. We gain more by using city as well because city does all the account deposits, reconciliations of the assessment checks, and follow up on return payments. Does the office staff handle all interactions and communication with city and village? No, city and village predominantly works through the account signers or the officers. The primary contact is the treasurer. When needed, the office staff are in contact directly with city on owner-related questions. There's limited interaction with city outside of the main assessment billing period throughout the year. Next question, the city and village collect past due assessments, or do they collect 1.4, or do they collect 1.4? I know it's yes and yes. How much is city collected in past due assessments? We did not specifically, we did not specifically track this. When we started with city, there were 216 past due accounts. That does not include the 2023 assessment. After a scrub of the bad debt was done. At the end of September, there were 615 delinquent accounts that included the 2023 assessment. At the end of February, there were 270 past delinquent accounts. Those do include the 2023 assessment. How far back did city go to collect? This was a POA decision. We had them go back after assessments to 2016. Basically, the assessment, if it was still outstanding in QuickBooks, due to a variety of issues, we did not pursue the finance charges. Are there other collection fees or costs associated with city and village? Please list them. It all depends on if we choose to use add-on services. We did choose to use the lien filing service. The POA pays the county recording costs and postage and stationery up front. So no differences in cost of whether they were done in-house. City adds the fees to the delinquent property owner. If the lien collects, the POA recovers all the money and fees. What other services is city and village providing? This time, none. We don't have any plans at this time, but that could change going forward. Please list all expenses associated with city and village. That was done in the above questions.
Okay, that concludes the city and village.
All right, the next, Rever. How long have we had Rever? The board unanimously approved the purchase of Rever in May of 2023 prior to the contract being signed. Is Rever a software purchased or leased annually? How much is the service? Rever is a subscription service. It's like many other office tools we have in Zoom, MailChimp, QuickBooks, etc. The cost plus implementation of Rever is $5,515, and the renewal is approximately $4,000. Are there upgrade fees? No, it's just the subscription cost. Is there a contract? Yes, it renews annually. Was there an analysis done? Yes, Deb and Karen completed the analysis and made a motion to the board. As required, we solicited 3 bids. One was from DocuWare, one was SharePoint, the other was M-Files, in addition to Rever. All of these were top 5 rated document management systems in PC Magazine. SharePoint was ruled out because it requires a full-time IT administrator and training was not included. In addition, it has a significant learning curve for our purpose. M-Files would not respond with a bid. Rever was selected as it's a more robust tool and less costly than DocuWare. Basically, DocuWare did not have the workflow tools in it. Who has access to confidential data on Rever? There is no confidential data in Rever at this point. There's no intent to store checks, credit cards, or documents with social security numbers in Rever. The owner data is that's available in Rever is readily available on the internet or county records. This potentially will change once we put censures into Rever. Currently, the office staff, the treasurer, the secretary, and the contracted admin have Rever access. As the rollout continues, board members will get access to the specific areas of work that are within Rever, but not full access. Rever is a web-based application, sign on and password, secured access, and you only have access to areas that are required for the job or the role, such as Tilly can do the second level approval of the bill pays, but she does not have full access to the rest of Rever. This is not me, it's the question. I've been informed that the office staff is not the administrator. Why wouldn't it be more cost effective? That is correct. The office staff is not the administrator. The office staff had been reluctant to adopt and utilize Rever. At one point, in fact, they said they did not need Rever and to do what Rever can do. That's not true. Rever is an online document management and workflow tool. If anything happened to the POA office, almost all of the records are gone. Ideally, the office manager, IT services, or the web administrator would be the system administrator. Until adoption, full rollout, and appropriate utilization of the tool is completed, the investment that the POA made in this will be protected by utilizing the contracted administrator. This could have been avoided if we did not run into the delays from May through November. This caused the 2 board members leading the project to no longer be on the board and our implementation window to pass. Does the office staff have any interactions and communications with Rever? If not, why, and who does have? And when will the office have it? See the above response. I just covered that. But currently, the administrator and the treasurer have the communication with Rever is predominantly the administrator, however. How much are people with access to Rever being paid? Are these people residents of Raintree? The contracted administrator is an owner in Raintree, was a previous board member on the project. And we do not disclose the pay rates of employees or subcontractors. That's not professionally appropriate. Of the 6 people with access to Rever, currently 4 are residents of Raintree: the secretary, the treasurer, one of the office staff, and the administrator. Why are we paying third-party contractors to administer Rever when we have POA office staff that can handle the task? Couldn't and shouldn't this money be better spent on issues such as maintenance or roads? I think I've answered some of that above, but the board members involved did not agree that the office staff is at a point where they can handle the administrative tasks of Rever. The cost of Rever, if we were not to have it, it's not even going to cover 2/100ths of a mile of road repairs, so it wouldn't really even be noticeable on it. Once Rever is fully deployed, utilized, the copy expense, ink, toner, filing supplies, and the filing labor will be reduced or eliminated. Ease of access and office work become easier while providing owners the ability to complete forms online. That is a huge benefit because approximately 2/3 of Raintree's owners are not full-time residents.
All right, thanks, John. I believe next is Scantron.
Okay. We had a mock election. And honestly, it went very well. If you were one that participated in it, thank you for coming up and doing that. What we tried to do, first of all, we had ideas of, can we run the Scantron through multiple times in case the property owners versus a homeowner, because last election we said that you get 2 votes if you're a resident, excuse me, and you can do that. So we can run it through and it tallies. It doesn't like kick it out or anything like that. The other thing that we did was I went ahead and on the tally sheet itself, I put the answers to the ballot items, and I get a readout of how many people voted for this person, that person, that person, that person. So it did a marvelous job. The one thing that we had questions on is like being able to distinguish a property owner versus a resident. And you can do that. What we did on the Scantron itself, this is what your ballot would look like. And you just fill out, and we had people make bigger marks outside the lines to make, and it worked like a charm. What we can do visually, yeah, people in red, yeah, to try to stump it, and we went through, and Jenny witnessed the whole thing. Visually, we could put an X on the ballot so that we say this is a homeowner. And we can also, like the last number is 50 here, if we mark those items before I give that to you. Like this one, would tell me how many property owners voted that day or that week or whatever, which is a good thing for us to know. So we can mark it in two ways, with that or with that. And I think with us counting the ballots out, being human, this would be something that we can see better than looking for a number 50 being marked. But it will also tally, you know, how many homeowners we had to vote. The other thing, the only thing that was a negative was that what happens if we have 5 people running for the board and there's only 3 openings? Could someone fill out all 5? Yeah, they could. And what we would do at the end of the week, we would take the ballots and we could look 1 through 5 and see if there was. I can still run them all through. I can still run them through because the rest of their ballot is valid. So we would run them through, and if we saw anything like would be like they had 5 of them filled out versus the 3, we can set them off to the side, which we venture to say it would be very few. And then we could look at our total and subtract those votes, that they would be invalid for that person. And that's the only, I mean, that's the only glitch I think we would have is that, but with us having that and having a visual, because they can pull them off to the side if they think that, oh, this one has too many votes, look, 1 through 5, they had all 5 of them. They take that off and then I have a tally here and I can just subtract that. We can, Denny and I went through it 2 or 3 times. So if we wanted to validate it again, we can run it through and check our numbers to validate and say, what, we did it 3 times, we got the same number 3 times, and we're good. And well, 23, it took us like 2 minutes to do it, but you know, if we have 300-400 people, it'd probably take us 10 minutes or so versus 8 hours.
So quick
So-
question.
Wouldn't that be an invalid ballot?
Hang on.
What, Glenn?
My question is, the invalid ballot did not auto kick out?
No,
Okay,
no,
it's counted all up.
it counts it all up, and the only invalid part would be who you voted for. So the rest of your ballot would be, and then someone said, well, what if I just put every number? Well, guess what? A yes or a no, you invalidated your own vote.
Yeah.
Duh,
But what if
you know,
you-
yes and no,
If it said vote for 3, I chose to just vote for 2 to see what would happen.
and
It counted those.
it counted it, but it wasn't counted against you. So, yeah, so it worked like a charm. And
Hang on,
Oh,
Jerry, if you don't mind waiting till open forum, we have the ballot
Yeah,
items tonight.
yeah.
This meeting is gonna last till
Okay.
midnight.
That's gonna save us a good chunk of money that we pay.
Yeah, I wanna
Yeah.
just mention to that. First off, hands off for Tilly and everybody. Not just running the event, but finding the software to do this, so thank you very much. Secondly, it'll save money on having an attorney at $250 an hour to validate the votes. The second person that had to validate last year, an office manager has to sit here all afternoon on a Sunday, and pizza for all of us hungry people, so it will save a chunk of money, and definitely welcome that and appreciate everything you've done for us, so. Thank you. No.
Oh, hey, no. I do think we need to do some kind of little donation to Hillsborough High School, because
Yeah,
they gave us, you know, some money. They gave it to us for free. So, I mean, I
just
don't know.
talked about saving money now.
I know, well, I know, but, I mean,
We can definitely do that.
yeah, some little token of whatever appreciation.
All right, very good, thank you. Thanks again to everybody that helped out. Thanks for everybody that voted in the mock election. Requirements for the event form. Who's that? Me, you, John?
Oh, requirement, I don't know. Oh, did you have anything new for the events form?
I'm sorry, I wasn't.
Well,
I don't have it with me, but I would like to have on there. The last 2 that I've looked at have a start time, but there's no end time, and I think we must have an end time.
Yeah.
One of them was the what do you call it, garage sale,
Oh,
and I think we need an end time, and the
Yeah.
other one is for something that's gonna happen at the pavilion or the lake, and my understanding is that all parks
lakes, beach, pavilion, et cetera, everything, quiet time is 10 o'clock, which means
Right.
not turn the music off, but people need to go. And so I'd like to have some modify the form that way.
Okay,
There may be one or two other modifications, but I was gonna bring those.
I would like,
Tonight, but I'm not prepared to do that tonight, but I'd love to see that. I don't
Okay.
know what is required to make that change, but I'd love to have an end time on there.
Personally, I think we need a planning session because I got online and looked at the requirements for the event farm. And I think it needs a total overhaul. It's just too confusing, the fonts and the underlines and whatnot, so I think.
Okay,
Keep
okay.
it
I'd
simple,
love to do that.
Yeah.
add what you got to it,
Yeah,
we'll
so-
have a planning session, it can be an open
Can
forum.
we eliminate or can we talk about this, put this in the notes, talk about, there's a. Wendy, what is it, a contract, a pavilion contract, rental contract or something?
a rental
Can we-
agreement.
Can we make that part of the events over, let's see if that's feasible to
Okay.
combine those so that people don't
No,
know.
they're two different things.
Okay,
If you could have an event by renting the pavilion, but the event form was born from owners wanting to have big events on PRA Common.
so if somebody's having a birthday party or a graduation party or something, they can fill out the rental form and
That's what we need.
Right.
okay, maybe there needs to be some similar questions on the two of them.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make two separate forms, but have more information on both, would that be, let's look at,
Okay,
okay.
Desiree, wasn't this item about, like the cruise and raid tree event, if they, some talk about switching witches night out to a cruising type event, but I thought that's what that represented, that you went,
I didn't put it on here, so,
sorry, so there's,
other than the conversation that we had, when I brought it
Okay.
up to you guys.
So for anybody that doesn't understand, we need an event farm for anybody that's gonna have more than a handful of people on POA property for the usage of entertainment or whatnot, so we gotta. The insurance agent put forth this when we had the meetings last year about Witches Night Out and luau and whatnot, so. We need to know what's going on, we need to know what kind of insurance they have and what's covered and what isn't covered, so. It's really, it needs to get down to about 5 or 10 questions on one page, is the way I look at it, it was kind of confusing to me.
So then when we all agreed on the cruise and rain tree one, I guess that doesn't,
right,
Anymore?
'cause it's not on, it's not hosted on POA Common.
Yeah, that's roads, that's. Oh, it's not really common ground.
All that's debatable.
Yeah. I guess you could make
I
it.
was told to ask for, see if they would fill out the form, but
I would say if there's an organizer behind the cruising event, then yes.
well, they said that they didn't have to fill it out after all, so I just wanted to make sure that that was brought up and everything.
I think you could make an argument either way.
Yeah, I had to read
It's POA common ground or it's not POA common.
Well, when I brought it up, I said, I wasn't sure either way, I just wanted to bring it up and see if it needed to be.
I think the main thing for the events is CYA to make sure we've got the subdivision covered insurance wise. And people aren't driving back and forth with kegs on their golf carts and whatnot, but it doesn't hurt to throw it out there and at least ask if there's an organizer behind it. Probably should at least get who we contact if there's an issue, because not 300 people are all saying, okay, I'm gonna get together and go ride
This
a
whole
golf
thing
cart.
just don't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
Question? Is it to ask me?
Well, can you wait till after in the open forum, because Jerry Jean will hammer me.
Appropriately.
Are there any real estate agents here? Okay, so last town hall, I guess we had a discussion about what real estate agents were bringing to the table for some assessment increases, and we talked about a 1% sale assessment on any house or lot that got sold. Due to further research with the attorney, the state of Missouri does not allow you to do that unless you charge it every year on every property, so that will not be on the ballot item. The one thing I would like to say is we definitely appreciate everybody's opinion. We are not the attorneys, so we don't know. It was brought to us to put it on a ballot. And it came from the state of Florida, a resident in the state of Florida, which it is legal to do. So it's like every state is different. I appreciate everybody's input. Just kind of be nice about it. Security technology recommendations, Lynn.
All right, well, security would like to motion the purchase of 2 gate arm control towers. Along with new gate arms for all gates with soft LED strips on the gate arms. The most affordable bid is from Automatic Gate and Door. We got 3 bids. 3,900 versus 4,300, 5,200 per gate tower. So very competitive bid. And then for the extra 4 LED arms only, no gate towers on the other 4. It's a total of 1,333. So all in 2 new gate towers, all 6 gate arms with LEDs, 9,195.
All right, we will take that motion up and, well, I guess have we discussed it in new business already or not? No. No, so we take the motion in new business, but does anybody got any questions about that?
How sturdy or resilient or whatever the word is for the gate arms, because unfortunately they take a lot of abuse.
Right, they're roughly the same.
Okay,
Mhm.
So it's just a matter of replacing the ones that we already have.
Correct. And in terms of safety, and I didn't see the gate arm, that solves the problem.
So these ones aren't gonna be easily knocked off.
No, they're it's the same attachment. Yeah, with the vinyl nuts, they'll fall off. But the LEDs are like a soft LED strip. If it does come down on a car, that's almost foam-like LEDs, so.
So 2 towers, so which?
2 towers,
So
so just both the rear and the front entrance need repairing or need replacement. And then all the parts in the existing towers, the internal parts, will be boxed and used as spare for the others.
All right, I appreciate you running that meeting last week.
Are we voting on this now?
No, we'll do it new business, because that's where we actually got the motion at. Any other unfinished business? I think that's it. All right, thanks, everybody. All right, ballot item suggestions. All right, I'll start. I don't know how long my voice will hold out, but I'll start reading a few. Ballot item number 1 was the 1% purchase assessment, which will be rejected or not even discussed due to legal reasons. Ballot item number 2 from Denny Schwantner and John Willett. This is regarding 4B, and what we are, let me make sure I got this right. We are striking out of 4B is, let me read it first. Okay, so 4B is all of the owners of a fee interest in the lot in these subdivisions or any other subdivision or condominium development created in the vicinity thereof or adjacent thereto by the grantor herein, or its assigned shall, upon becoming a record owner of such a fee. And I have to give this to you, Forrest. You understand this crap better than I do.
You're doing great.
Fee interest, become a member of the Property Owners Association, and the ballot item is to remove and have only one collective vote irrespective of the number of lots held by the member to be, what is it? Cast in all matters requiring a vote. All votes must be cast in person. If lots are held by a legal entity, only the designated representative of the entity may cast its vote. To vote, a member must be in good standing as of 30 days before the date for the election. Good standing shall mean the members and is current in all POA assessments. And it wants to add, refer to bylaws article 11, section 2 for the voting rights. The vote may be cast among other things on such matters as assessments, amending, altering, or deleting the restrictions, or electing trustees or board of directors of Property Owners Association and approving and amending bylaws of any such property owners association. All such voting must be done in person and no proxy voting will be permitted. And then we are going to remove again, and if more than one individual owns any lot, only one vote may be cast. That was a mouthful.
Mhm.
What's that mean for us?
No, it's
Someone translated.
No, I'm kidding.
$2.50 an hour is cheap. Be careful, you might be hanged.
what did you guys call it? What are you attempting to do with that?
Basically, it's to remove last year, the bylaw was voted in, the bylaw is actually Article 2, not 11.
Oh, is that what that was?
Last year, the vote was put in, Benny found well after the vote had already been done, that the bylaw was replicated in the covenants, so it's basically just looking to uphold what the owners voted in last year in the bylaw and to remove the conflict out of it. And, you know, based in this, bylaws are predominantly to cover the, you know, your membership, your officers, your meetings, your executive board, committees, any authority levels, any amendments, it counts as your voting part in it. So, you know, the bylaw is what should stand with this, which was changed by vote last year, not the covenant. So we just didn't catch it. A covenant should be, I promise to do, not to do. It's your restrictions for the community. So the voting should be under the bylaw, which was changed in the vote last year, election last year.
Yes,
First of all, I want to apologize to you guys for bringing this thing up, but
no need to apologize.
this was actually what I was trying to do was get the bylaw changed to match what the covenant says, because I feel like the covenant should override the bylaw. When we voted on it last year, we voted on something we shouldn't have been voting on, to my opinion, because the covenant covered this already. And we're changing the bylaw to give 2 votes to homeowners and 1 vote to lot owners. Another reason I was objecting to the way it was voted on was that we're taking a portion of our membership and we're setting them aside and saying, you're going to be different from the rest of us. I think we've been down this road before with certain sections of the community that were could have a financial burden, the other section didn't. So my objective on this was to get the bylaw changed, to correct it from the covenant. The covenant actually should override the bylaw.
But it doesn't, the voting doesn't belong in the covenant anyway. It belongs with the voting in the bylaw. So, I mean, if you want to change the bylaw, we can change the bylaw back, but it was voted in by the owners last election, passed through the attorney review and voted in, but it's never actually happened yet. This would be the first
And
election.
that's why I brought it up,
Right.
because I could see
Right.
lot owners coming
Yeah.
in and finally realizing that they only get 1 vote, and owners get 2. I see a conflict there,
Yeah.
and
Well, I think you're right, and we do have a conflict, so I don't think we can do the whole, while the election could be upheld from last year to the bylaw, you can't do it yet until,
This either gets
Yes.
removed or changed in the bylaw.
okay, there's another ballot item coming up from Borough, and it talks about changing the bylaw back to the way it was. So, and I would agree with her recommendation on this thing, her suggestion and justification too.
So you're changing this first one completely. It's not that you want, you don't want to have homeowners having 2 votes.
I would, myself, I would not vote for this current ballot the way it is set up. I would vote for Barbara's ballot instead.
You could put them both on the ballot. Would that cause too much conflict?
Well, the problem I see with that,
It would have to be vote one or the other. It wouldn't be, you couldn't vote for both.
Yeah.
Cause you're
but I think
basically,
the membership should know the unfair situation that they put the lot owners in.
What they did, and this was all communicated in the election last year,
Okay,
and they voted it.
I know, that's true, they did.
Yeah.
They should have done it. The lot owner should have done it. Okay, I agree with that. However, under the current bylaw, looking back at the September election, the homeowners outnumbered the lot owners 6-1 in the election.
the homeowners
The
out.
homeowners outnumbered the lot owners 6-1. Now, under this bylaw that we have in effect now, that would be 12-1. I mean, where is this by? We haven't had,
If I could call on you, John, you put the ballot item in a year ago about the, yeah,
Yeah, so that was the whole purpose of this, is that there is a difference. You said there's no difference between a homeowner and a lot owner.
not according to the covenants, there isn't.
Okay, well, there in reality is a difference though. So the covenant maybe needs to be addressed that way. Because a lot owner has a whole lot more, homeowner has a lot more interest than a property owner, right? And at any point, at this point, the amount of lot owners can come in and take over an election and win it at a single vote. So yeah, there was a little bit there to say that yes, the homeowners need to have a little bit more, and if not, then the lot owners need to pay the same amount of assessment as property owners. Right?
I won't argue with that, but I would like to bring up
I'm
another
sorry,
fact.
I wrote that, I think it was-
Pardon me?
Good luck with that, is that what you said?
He agrees with that.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to get at is we have not had a large number of lot owners come into this community to vote since 2015. So it's been 9 years now, and it's,
But we haven't really had a large number of people vote, period. There's a lot of apathy.
10%.
Yeah, 10%.
299 votes last
You
year.
know, plus you say that there's a big, and I don't know because I'm relatively new to the community, but when you said that some people paid more, when you mentioned the golf course, but I think when the powers that be, the attorneys and the judges looked at it, they said, no, in reality, everybody should have been paying all along.
right.
So I don't think that made a difference. I think.
Well, it made a difference for 6 years that the people had to pay.
Sure, I think they were wrong. I agree. But so we made that, it was made right by,
But to get back to these ballot items.
okay, but
And so forth. My intention was to get the bylaw corrected to match the covenant, not.
But they shouldn't, you shouldn't have things in the covenants and the bylaws.
Right, I
They
mean,
should not, and one is overlap with the other, they're two separate things the way I understand.
the covenant by definition of bylaws shouldn't be in the covenants. It's not a promise of a restriction on the properties that you have here, that I will walk my dog on a leash, type thing. So, you know, regardless of what the next one about, do we put a ballot item out again to reverse what the owners voted in last year? I think the covenant needs to be removed regardless. And if the ballot item wants to, I mean, we could make it two separate ones, whatever the result of the next one is Barb submitted. If, you know, if the board wants to go back and put another ballot item out there to let owners vote, to override what we voted in last year, you know, that's fine. But we just changed the covenant to refer to the bylaw and not replicate it in the covenant, because that way nobody else down the road will get tripped up on this again. I mean, this thing went past all the boards, all the community that participated. Every owner got the mail newsletter to them last year. The attorney reviewed it. And we went through the election and no one thought that the bylaw was replicated in the covenant. Should it have been? Absolutely. You know, on it. So,
So
I have-
what do we do? I mean, we had an election.
I have 3 theories on this. One is we all know it's gotta be removed from the covenant, regardless of what the wording ends up being in the bylaw, whether we change that and remove this at the same time. that definitely needs to be done. Secondly, if you give a lot owner the level of voting rights that a homeowner gets, then that could lead to something very detrimental financially, because if you're making a lot owner equal with a homeowner as far as voting, then they should be paying the same, and then you're gonna really get people letting their lots go. I don't know what the right answer is. I'm just saying if a lot gets the same vote as a homeowner, then a lot. So technically, we all pay the same amount for a lot. I just happen to build a house on mine, and so did you and whoever else owned the house. That's the way I look at it. And I'm seeing both sides of it, so I'm gonna stand right in the middle on the fence.
I mean, one of the things I agree with is if you own a lot in here, you have every right that somebody that has a $500,000 home in here. There's no difference in rights than what you have, but you pay significantly less money than a homeowner does. And, you know, and I think that's what was behind what I remember from a year ago was if you own a home in here, you've got a several $100,000 commitment into Raintree, where a lot owner may well have picked the lot up for a couple $100 from the county and pays $200 some odd dollars a year. You know, have all the same rates, but I think it was that what was brought up last year is that for the people who have the most significant investment in here, the people that have the least amount of investment in here shouldn't be able to control.
Yeah, you
Well,
have an interest, if you build a house out here, or one house out here, you have more of an interest in the development of the whole community. So you're gonna be a little bit more devoted to it. You should get a little bit extra benefit from increasing the property of everybody, you know, the cost of everybody's property, both land and home.
The one thing I see, Danny, about it is if. No, my word is right. If a lot and a homeowner are gonna have the same access, if the vote counts, like you said, over the last 15 years were close, then I would see it was more motivated to give somebody equity. But because they are so different, I don't really think we're hurting or harming anything major at this point. And it stabilizes people that have their livelihood out here majority of the time. I think that was what was behind this more so than saying, hey, it's me against you because you only own a lot and I own a house. I get where you're coming from, believe me, I do. I fought long and hard for that.
I know you do.
So,
Hey,
I don't,
to move, can I suggest to move this forward, other than changing the reasoning behind this? The way it's written is just removing the specific bylaw language from the covenant. It refers to the bylaw. So this can stand independent of the next one. If we want to put the ballot item on up again, you know, two weighted votes to one, that can be done independent of correcting the covenant. Because the voting rights don't belong in the covenant. So you could vote on removing the voting rights from the covenant. And you could do a bylaw piece which covers the voting rights separately. On it. So because there's nothing in the revision proposed to the covenant that spells out the bylaw. It just refers to the bylaw. So if we change the bylaw, it just refers in the covenant back to the bylaw and doesn't replicate the language.
Okay, if you would, I don't know if you have the covenants in front of you, but if you look at 4A,
Okay, 4A.
it talks about restrictions, including assessments, amended, removed, blah, blah, blah. The vote of over 50% of the votes cast pursuant to nothing set forth in paragraph 4B. So now we're gonna have 4B. So 4A tells you to go look at 4B. And 4B is gonna tell you to go look at the bylaw.
this is why Ted met with us in the
Remember
auditorium.
6 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said that our bylaws and covenants are a mess.
I mean, they run you in circles, there's no doubt about it.
Uh. Due to this circumstance, can we table this one for either a planning session or the next meeting and we all gather our heads around this? Cause this is like,
Did you be able to touch with Ted on this?
Yeah.
About the conflicting-
give me a bullet point of just highlighted items and
But Dave, we did, that already came back and ruled with this, that you gotta fix them.
he did say that.
Is that, you know, that it doesn't belong in the covenant, whether it goes back and forth.
Okay,
The voting, so I would say, let's go forward. Vote for it, that we want to put on a ballot to remove the one specific language, refer it back to the bylaw, and then let's just go through the bylaw one that Barb submitted, and we make the decision as I go on the ballot.
And then that would be a yes or no, this ballot. I don't hear what
So each one of them are independent. One removes the language from the covenant, the other one will be, we
good language back.
put it back. to the
And
bylaw.
then, and if you do that, this year's vote will be a good indication of whether there was two or one.
So we wouldn't do a double vote probably with this going,
This
No.
year we-
not this year, because we're going to, okay.
On it, so
Thank you.
we need a motion, Lisa.
Yes,
All right, so I'll make a motion to put ballot 2 on the ballot. Removing the direct verbiage of bylaw article 2, section 2 on voting rights. So that it only references the bylaw.
your motion. I mean, a second. Ken seconded, any other discussion than we already had? All in favor of adding ballot number 2 to the item as John explained, signify with an eye. All opposed? Motion passes. All right. And then, so what are we gonna do? On ballot 3 here, let's see, justification, the most outstanding is this is a bylaw conflict with the covenants, research indicates that they are, okay, so this is basically what we just discussed.
I mean, basically, this one is, do we put on the ballot to put it back to a single vote? Or that?
Really, it's irrelevant to me, it's just kind of,
Cause it basically, all it's saying is that
Muddy
you
the
get
waters
one
a little
vote,
bit.
everyone gets one vote,
Everybody gets one vote.
and so that would be a yes or a no. But we kind of have to explain that due to previous election. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
we
under
need to
justification.
explain that because people are gonna say, I voted for 2 last time because I'm a homeowner.
So whenever there's a new motion or the community votes for something, can somebody come back the next year and say, I don't like this, and so I want it reversed? Sure. I mean, we're setting them, we want to set that precedent. And then also, are you gonna tell people, okay, if you did the same vote, then you have to pay the same amount of assessment?
that's where it really gets tricky.
Well, yeah, I mean, but.
We're gonna
Some
cover
people
that.
have a lot
We're
more
gonna cover that
investment.
in-
That could be adjusted later on in the other ballot items too.
So we're gonna. What is this, ballot 3?
This ballot number 3,
So somebody would need the motion to put it on the
All right, let
ballot.
me read it real quick, but so section 2, basically,
It's really-
I'm gonna do the justification part, or what's being removed here, out of section 2. Who owns a lot without a residence on it?
I would take it that what she wants, just what she wants and take that out.
Yeah.
I tried.
Further tax or-
Gibson, yeah, the justification is it, change of the bylaw conflicts with the covenants, research indicates that in the hierarchy of governing documents for an HOA. Covenants always take precedence over bylaws. Attached are 3 examples I found in my research due to the preponderance of evidence to the contrary. Allowing this 2-vote bylaw to stand in conflict with the covenants would most certainly be set up as a challenge to this election. This could result in the finding that the election is illegitimate and should be set aside, not to mention claims of possible discrimination from lot owners who are being disenfranchised by the election. Well, for this vote, we're only doing one, right? So that wouldn't be the case as far as this year goes. It would only be next year if.
So here's the next question is, do we correct the covenants again, or does the previous item correct this as
The
well?
previous, well,
Will it correct this as well?
well, no, I mean, this question is, do we put an item on the ballot to reverse what was voted in last year?
Right,
And,
but part of the justification is that it conflicts with the covenants.
well, we fixed that in the prior. one.
So the prior one does suggest that.
Okay. If it comes out of the covenant, because voting is in the bylaw, not the
Okay.
covenant, it just will refer in the covenant to the bylaw, back
That's
to
the
the
most important
bylaw.
thing, is to clean it up.
So whatever we change the bylaw to by vote, it just is a reference to it.
Okay.
So. I think somebody needs the motion. And second this, or let it go.
Am I allowed to make any more comment?
Sure.
Was that vote last year close? Do we know what that was?
I don't know. It's the overall 6-1 people voting as home. Right. I don't know what the count was.
I mean, I would.
You remember all
Even
the
though I presented it, I think given the version. I think I know it's controversial, and maybe if you vote is worth it, to find out if that's really the case, if people were upset with it, they'll come in and start voting down. I mean, it is a little bit, no doubt, controversial. No doubt. But it got passed through all the different forms and, different things you did. But it is a vote that even I would say is worth a double shot. If we're not gonna vote twice this year, I don't know why we're not. If it passed last year, why are we not doing two votes this year? But if we're not, then let it come up again.
There's 186 and 110. I'll make a motion to put the. Third one?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
I'm just nervous about changing votes every year. Why would I vote?
Well, our job when it comes to ballot items is just to see if they're enough to send a tag and put on the ballot. It's not really our job to judge which one should or shouldn't be on it.
No, but that's the only reason we keep coming up here, is to be able to voice your opinion about something you might disagree with last year. And once the vote's over, you're gonna have it until another year to really get your voice noted again. If you miss the first time around, then you find out how critical these things are, so you get a second vote on this. I mean, I think that they vote over and over is not, that's not bad, that's good, isn't it? I may be wrong, but I think that's good.
Different opinions, different viewpoints, yeah.
Yeah, you find out what you're. You think about it for years and you say, what about this, what about that, what about this? And it comes back. I want it to be passed, I definitely think it's right, and I want it to be passed, but I also want the community to continue right. And now I'll be quiet for the rest of the night, baby.
You're good.
No, I'm just, yeah. I mean, so what we're gonna do is the covenant will go first, and that's just taking out the voting part. And then this part here is you will vote yes or no to go back to either one vote for everybody. If you would do no, you were saying that you basically want two votes. Basically, is what
That's correct.
I mean, I just wanna be justified, like the justification of it. So I guess would mean that we go back to one vote. A no would mean,
Leave it the way it is.
leave it the way it is, with the two votes.
In
Okay,
reality, ballot item 2 is a no-brainer. Ballot item number 3 is telling us which way we wanna
okay.
vote. All right, I'm good with that description. All in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
All opposed, Motion passes. Ballot item 3 on the ballot. All right, number 4.
We already reviewed this, it's pending test.
Oh,
Yeah, this one, yeah, we're waiting on.
6.
We already have 5 at the bottom, 4.
All right. Kent Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Proposed ballot item, shall Raintree Property Owners Association amend their bylaws to prohibit entrance or exit by any motorized vehicle from Raintree property except through current gated roads, the only exceptions being granted the written approval of the Raintree Property Owners Administration. Examples of exceptions include golf carts and approved maintenance vehicles entering and exiting Raintree Golf Course. This provision applies to all motorized vehicles licensed or not, including but not limited to cars and trucks, motorcycles, and golf carts.
Yeah, so the reason I brought it up was because, at the last meeting, we talked about the lots being juxtaposition on the one had access from Route B and one had access from Raintree. And I thought that was a great presentation, but this is more of a global approach to it, that, hey, people can just come on and off Raintree property except through the gates, or say you're on a golf cart, we should allow people to go back and forth, or we should let Dave Tucker move his things from the golf course, which isn't really Raintree property, onto our roads and back, et cetera, or cross our property, get from one golf hole to another, but it's basically to prevent people from coming through a trail or a path or anything to get on, closing Raintree. That's what I intended. I hope that's what it says. I'm not aware of it. Or if that's.
So I mean, basically, they're the same thing, because Kent, yours has to change the covenant, that's not a bylaw, this is a restriction, so it's a covenant. There's a bylaw, but I think Betsy, you are trying to say the same thing,
Yes.
just in a different.
I'm just trying to make it more
I
vocal.
mean, I wonder, do we just add Kent's to Betsy's and make it one? With the language for both of them.
Betsy's.
Betsy did the whole.
And they both relate to the same thing. Maybe just put Kent's up in. merge
Yeah,
the
somebody
two
mix
together.
Entrance.
Mix them together or something. I just.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be.
Just
Yeah,
specific.
just move this up here.
Yep.
I just didn't want it to be specific to.
Right.
That one instance,
Yep.
rather more of a global thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to move Kent's verbiage into ballot 4, which is Betsy's.
For a second,
I'll second.
any discussion?
We just need to change bylaw over there to covenant.
All in favor of merging ballot 5 to ballot 4, which is in review by the attorney, signify with an aye. All opposed?
We have to send that back, by the way, once we're done.
Oh, yeah, that's why I have that wrong.
All right, ballot item 6, Denny Schwantner, special assessment.
Already went through it.
Oh. Number 7,
We already went through it. Some of the third they do. That one is, 7 is the one to,
And we sent it
is
to.
to put in a level in the assessment, partially improved lot, you have a boathouse, seawall.
Oh, like what we talked about in the past.
Yeah, so it would be a partial one. The other part of it, 8, was to change the late fee to 1% to 2%. And the other assessment items might go back and change all of it. Of them, so.
all right,
we'll make that one.
ballot item number 8. Or 9, I'm sorry.
Nine.
It's submitted by myself. It's about the assessments and the covenants. And I am gonna give you the high level version of it. There will be 2 assessments, one for a lot, one for a home. And a home can have up to 10 lots joined or unjoined for a single payment monthly of $150. Lots will have a single payment of $50 per month for an annual fee of $600. The yeah, the 10% discount if paid in full was not doable by the management company, so we will not be able to honor any kind of discount if you paid in full. So let me explain this a little bit to you. This assessment covers all lots by the owner under a common name on the deed. Lots that are not commonly named on the deed represent a separate vote and thus a separate assessment. The all-in assessment change will cover roads, road needs, lakes, dredging, enhanced security, no fees for stickers other than a new home construction, seawall, and boathouse. Bonds fully refunded with no admin fee, improved online owner tools, no credit card pass-throughs. Additionally, the all-in assessment will cancel the last 2 years of the 5% increase and the COLA. If this item passes, it will override, cancel all other assessment ballot items. So what that part means is there's other ballot items on here for assessment. So if that first one passes, it cancels out, putting the other ones even on the ballot.
And that could, the other thing this does is it moves the assessment from annual to monthly.
Right.
On it, and what that does for us is it allows us to realize the revenue throughout the course of the year. Today, if somebody prepays the assessment, we can't realize the revenue until the assessment goes. So, it'll also help match that a tax year is January to December, the assessment year would be January to December.
All the delinquent and everything else would stay the same. Give you a little bit of facts behind where I came up with this. There's 2,690 total billable lots, 323 currently owned by the county, drops it to 2,367. There are 139 lots that are deeded to the same owner or legally joined, brings the grand total billable lots in this format down to 2,228. Can have up to 10 properties in the same name, which that boils down to approximately 800 homes and 1,428 lots. What that will do on an annual basis is the lots will bring in $856,000, 800, and the homes will bring in $1,440,000, which is a grand total of $2,296,000 and 800. So the reasoning behind this is the budgetary items at large. Approximately $12 million is at large to get roads up to standard. Once completed, or if this ballot item is complete, it would take 6 to 10 years, and then there would be a $200,000 to $500,000 need for maintenance. So if, based on this budgetary update, we would take about 6 years to get every road in this subdivision up to speed. And what that means is 2.5 to 3 inches of asphalt with 7 inches of underlayment, whether it's brand new, ground up, removed, put back down, however, 7 inches of compacted underlayment and 2 lifts with 3 inches of compacted asphalt. The other item at large is approximately 1.5 million to get the lake treated properly, which Kent has discussed this at length. This can be paid up front or over a 5-year period with interest. So if we take the money from the first 1 or 2 years, we could technically pay that off in about 18 months. That being said, we could take up to 5 years with some minimal interest. After that, the cost of implementation would be reduced cost for maintenance and support, only approximately $125,000 a year, and that's a guesstimate by the vendor. We don't really know that for sure, but it's an extremely reduced amount. And that goes into line with what we're treating lakes for. That's basically what we would be covering. A security enhancement, $150,000 per year for a security guard during evening and off hours, or $250,000 per year for security guards for 24/7. $150,000 upgraded gates, entrances, and enhanced access control. Approximately $35,000 for enhanced camera support working with local police and government. Also, that what I had put in here that would be nice is catch basins for every major waterway into the lake. The expense is unknown, but you guys did talk about that, or somebody talked about that. If the all-in passes, there is more room for donated products and labor for amenities or upgrades to Raintree if desired. I truly believe if that would pass, you wouldn't need to have donated products and labor anymore, but. This would also eliminate COLA requirements and build up the ICF fund to required maximums. Avoids the current assessment increase in COLA moving forward. I will say that it sounds like a lot of money, but this is what the subdivision needs. And due to it being billed monthly, it's not as harsh on the wallet as being billed at once, especially with the country club assessment all coming due around the same time. And I'll definitely take questions in the open forum about it, but I've been studying this for about 18 months and especially with the condition the roads are in and the lack of funds we have for them. And the lake treatments that we found out is gonna cost over $1 million.
That's not just a free.
No, that is the
Yes.
clean.
Dredging is part of that.
Right.
Yeah,
There may be, right.
yeah, that, and this would address all four.
We don't
lakes,
have a
not-
final number yet, but
Right,
we know that other lakes are paying that amount.
so currently we're bringing in about a little over $700,000 a year. This would take it up to about 2.2 million a year, which would pretty much allow us to get a lot of the other projects done that the smaller ones. This also allows us to piecemeal a lot of the small projects in between, like the rinse station and then upgraded infrastructure down at the beach and maybe a new pavilion because we've been told that's on its last leg. Full service RV, full parking in the off season, or maybe finding a place for parking for boats and trailers and possibly RVs and whatnot to try to get stuff off of our streets. So there's definitely a lot of benefit. The downside to it is you gotta pay a little bit more money, but this is your livelihood, whether it's a lot or a home, and we also have eliminated all the fees for all stickers, so you won't have to buy a sticker. If you want a boat sticker or a car sticker or a golf cart sticker, you just will still do the same type of registration. You still have to have it on your vehicles, but we won't charge you for it. We're gonna eat the cost of the stickers and the labor. And I believe after this is all said and done, we're gonna, out of the $2.2 million outside of overhead, we probably net $2 million, so. That's my explanation. I will make a motion to approve as written and eliminate the strike throughs on the assessment re-app.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So then the discount would have to be removed as well.
Yes, no discounts you pay. If you got 6 lots, one price,
As long as they're in the common G thing.
right?
And that's not like flip flop the first name, one deed says John and the second one says Jan first, as long as it's not somebody totally different, as long as the deed's in common.
So references, I think Kent, you brought something up similar to that. Could you deed
I wanted to buy lots
across the street? This would allow you to do that.
This would allow me, well.
Yeah,
It wasn't,
pass.
it wasn't me per se, I was just saying that, wouldn't it be beneficial would it be beneficial if we allowed homeowners to buy lots that weren't connected to their property? Could we do that? And I talked to John about it not that long ago, and John, you said you talked to the lawyer, and the lawyer said, well, no, that couldn't.
No.
It couldn't happen because of,
No, I wrote the ballot item up and we reviewed it,
okay,
but the board didn't want to move forward with it.
okay.
So we didn't have the motion or the second or the votes to put it on the ballot, so. It never even went to.
Yeah, because I, you and Dave, and Dave, could sit,
So we
figure something out,
I mean,
write it up, because I would.
we tried, but it didn't go.
Okay,
This
so
would-
this is another
This would,
aspect, another way to venture down that road.
if you bought the lots across the street and deeded them to the same name as the other lots you own, as long as you don't exceed 10. It would be covered. The reason we put the 10 cap in was. You don't want an investor to come in here and buy, they could come in and buy every county lot and think they're only gonna pay one assessment, so that's
I
where, and nobody today. I think 8 legally adjoined lots is the max that we have today.
Right.
Don't quote me on that, but I think we're at 8, is the
And
max.
Dave, what ballot item this is because of?
Nine, I believe.
What's that?
Yeah, these may not stay this. These
Yeah.
numbers we're talking about today.
But I mean, I'm gonna want you to.
It may not be 9 when the actual ballot comes.
I got a couple questions about it, but I'll wait because I don't want to do Jerry Jean rule. I'll hold off till before. Yeah.
You want to take a question or not?
Yeah, I'll take a question pertaining to the ballot item.
So this is gonna be a whole new charge.
Eliminates your old charges and becomes a new charge.
So like, yeah, I have 3 lots, they're all combined on the survey. How would that be broken down? And what is this for each lot?
Right now, you'd pay one fee, $600
That would be total.
And $600.
Correct.
Does he have a
For,
home?
no, for,
a year. At billable at $50 a month.
Does he have a home?
do you have a home?
Pardon
Do
me?
you have a home?
Yeah.
Hang on, folks, there's too many people talking. Also, it'd be 1,800 a year.
So that's total, so is that more than what I pay now? I'm trying to think of something. That is.
It's gonna be, well, it depends if you got 3 boats and 2 golf carts and so.
You have a big issue, I don't know how me fix it, but I think this is a good route to go. But my only fear of this would be, we're gonna push people out here, people are gonna sell lots, they already are now. Haven't paid, have here, have it really access. And if people are gonna start paying extra. I'm not saying anybody's gonna default out here, that's just my only fear about this, I don't know how we fix the issue. And I'm just trying to, I'm on part of it, I understand what you're trying to say.
And I echo that, the only thing that we worry about is, are we gonna see a whole bunch of lots go up for sale, but of course. And end up having them go to the county, I guess,
Because I just bought 2 lots off the county for cheap. I mean,
Yeah, I will say that I don't disagree with you. That's why I've thought about it for 18 months. But I do believe now that by the time you're done with COLA and you got 2 or 3 lots, it's really, let me be honest with you, it penalizes the person with 1 house and 1 lot.
Yeah.
The person with our 1 lot with 2 adjoined and no house on it, or 3 adjoined. Where it does come into benefit is people that got a house and 5 or 6 lots, or a house with 1 lot and 2 or 3 lots spread out all over the place. So you could all pay for them as one, as long as they're deeded to the same name. So if you had,
So you don't have to survey them, but you need them all.
right,
That's the difference.
as long as they're in the same name, if it's your name first and your wife's name last, or then the next lot is flip flop, then you gotta pay another $600.
Okay.
So for a few bucks, you go down to the. My goal was to hope people that wanna sell these lots to people that wanna build houses on them.
And I agree, I think right now, we're gonna get to that point.
And think of this as all these things as an insurance policy, because if we let our roads go and our lakes fill in, or the golf course turns into a mosquito and snake. Habitat, you've lost all the equity in your
Our
home.
money maker is our lake.
I'm sorry.
Our money maker is our lake, we gotta take care of it.
Well, lake, golf, I mean,
Roads.
Yeah, but I mean, the roads are the big part too, and they are deteriorating. No, I agree.
Joe, you had something?
It's not a matter of how much you need, it's a matter of how much you think the people are gonna pay.
Right.
And I think that's yourself, it's just.
I went back and forth with that between the 100, 125, 150. I will say though, I don't disagree with you. And I responded to your article the other night. I appreciate what you did there. I do feel like for 40+ years, the subdivision's been doing what we think people are gonna vote for instead of what we need, why we're in the boat we're in right now. I mean, all I can say is if it don't pass, it don't pass. I gave my best effort at trying to get it to go through, but
If I could just answer that, I mean, mathematically to drop the number, you can't tout it as all in. Something has to go back in because, as an example, last calendar year, there was $107,000 of stickers that were sold. For all the variety of everything. So that's getting eaten out of this new numbers, because no one's gonna pay. So, you know, if you do an ACC project, there's no admin fee. Unless it's a boathouse, seawall, or home. We're not keeping half of your bond. You do the job according to what you submitted, you get your bond back. So we're gonna lose some revenues. Not a ton, but we're gonna lose some revenues of this. So if we lower the monthly amount. It's not all in anymore. We can't go out and say we're gonna fix the lakes, fix the roads, everything. If we have a lesser amount of money. So what do you put back in? It would be the
Greg,
question.
you wanted to
I
say
was
something?
just gonna say, we were here last Thursday and there were 25 homes on the list that Linda did, and if you do an average with all the POA fees. And throw out rain tree as not part of that average, it's $1,336 would be the average. 1,800 is not bad.
I think that's the
Well, and we
next
got some-
ballot item.
And we have some catching up to do. It's not like we're where those other places are now and we just move forward at 1,300. We need to.
So you're saying everybody pays,
1,800.
everybody? Yes, ma'am.
That number too, I was. With the, you know, fees with the HVAC that we were so low. So I'm glad to hear you're addressing roads and also security and that really makes me and what happened.
Yeah, having a guard.
I'm happy, he's happy. But secondly, on the second part, if we're losing that revenue with the stickers and the assessment for, what is the assessment currently for somebody who just owns a lot?
About 270.
Last year's assessment was 226, so it'd be
226.
5% more than that. And I'm like,
They would be paying, how much? Like 10?
$50 a month.
$600.
600. It'd go up to 600.
226 annually.
226, and of that, and then on that, they also had to buy their stickers,
Yeah.
226, okay, so.
Lot owners are more likely to be paying for stickers, you know, boats. You know, they probably don't have a golf cart sticker, but they're more likely to have one or two boats, fishing boat, regular, you know, runabouts. So they could be up there around $400 or $500.
I think that number personally is too low, like the 600 for the year, but I mean, I think.
Well, like I said, my goal is to take the 2,200 lots and convert them into homes. Now, the other goal behind this is there was a study done years ago that this subdivision can't handle 2,200 homes in here. We already know that there's been lots merged and whatnot. So it would give the other people that if you say you own a house and a lot and you wanted one or two next to you now you get it for the same price of $1,800. So there is ulterior motives to it as far as enhancing the subdivision, giving people a break. And I want to correct John in a way that I read it. We're not really losing money off of the $700 because we're now going to get 2.2, but we're not getting the same amount or the same type of assessment or fees. We're just going to get it in a different way. The other thing it does, and maybe some don't want to hear this, but for the management company, 2 billing cycles or 2 billing types, a lot or a house, unless you've got more than 10 or we've got it in somebody else's name.
So that's my question. So will the city and village still? Their contract, they're gonna be billing monthly then?
Yeah, we talked
So
to them
that'll
today about it. Yeah, there will be a little bit of fees on that. Like I said, I think we're probably gonna end up losing and gaining or losing and paying for services and stickers and stuff like that, probably about 200,000 off of that 2.2. So we're not gonna see every dime of that, but it's gonna help, I think, if it makes it to the ballot.
And just to clarify, this has nothing to do with the country club fees per
No.
lot, right? So if you own 10 lots.
Unless you buy the country club, Linda, donate it to the POA.
So I would just say this to answer you for city and village, if they collected $2.2 million, their fee would be $30,800. So they only get paid if they collect.
But did they base their proposal on the fact that they were only billing once a year?
Doesn't matter.
You know, they don't come back and say, well, this is a whole lot more work now. We're gonna have to-
I met with them about all the proposed ballot items to make sure that whatever we were doing, but, so they said to this going monthly, no, it's not a different price to us. It's 1.4% of what they collect. So if we collect 2.2 million, it's $30,800. It's still less money than one more employee in the office, and you have a lot more payments to process, so. I don't think city really becomes a challenge to us in this, but some of this is, if you look at it a little bit differently. This is kind of comes into it, you can either pay me now or pay me later type thing, because if this assessment's $1,800 a year for a homeowner, and you stay here 10 years, it's $18,000. If the lakes fill up and we drop to 2 lakes, if you can't use the coves because the water's not high enough to keep filling up. If the roads turn into, a disaster, which they're on their way, is your home value is gonna drop. And your home value is probably, if it drops on a $400,000 house, just 10%, it's 40 grand versus 18 grand. You could, if it goes 20%, it's gonna catch you sooner or later, on it. So we either need to get to a point that we can maintain and take care of the subdivision. And, one of the things I'll add to this with the roads, Denny did an absolutely yeoman's job with getting money for us from EPA and the roads, but the process that we were going under with the money we were at, there's a section of road I'll gladly show anybody who wants to see it. It's not even 3 years old. It's not even 3 years old, and it's alligator cracked and chunks are breaking out of it. Well, the vendor didn't fix the core problem, which is the base underneath the road. That's why it's alligator cracking and breaking up. But when we fix a road properly, it should last 15 years. And if it takes us, Dave said 6 to 10 years to get through this, you still have maintenance that has to happen to the roads. But, in 15 years, you got to start over again. The roads are not a do it once and done. It's a never ending, process here. So.
Let me get Jerry Jean. Jerry, wake up. You have a question?
Oh, it's okay.
She's got you down, man. Yeah.
My question would be, would we have any guarantee that the assessment would not increase for a certain amount of time?
I look at it like, if you get 2.2 million and we keep building homes in here, that in 6 to 10 years, keeping, that surplus building up, we get our ICF fund. So the ICF fund is anything for a crisis. It can be 1.5, it's supposed to be, you can build it up to 1.5 times your annual assessments. So at 2.2 million, that's $3.5 million that, that would be a pretty good nest egg to have to fall back on it. We can definitely put that verbiage in there.
Like for 10 years, no increase.
I think that'd be an no-brainer.
Jenny, there's no provision in what's been presented for an increase, so if a board and down the road wanted to increase it, it'd be a ballot item and a vote again, so there's no provision to change it right now.
So could a ballot item and board down the road after we're all paying $1,800 a year, say, you gotta have a golf cart sticker. You gotta have a sticker for your windshield on your car.
No,
Not according to this.
The ballot item.
They'd have to
covers it.
completely modify this ballot item.
Community would have to.
Right.
Community would have to vote that in.
It would, Greg, it would be covered that for this assessment, golf cart, auto, boat, non-motorized boat, whatever else we have is included in the price. All right, I think we need to
Greg, by the time we got enough money off of this, AI will be letting you in and out of the gate.
Hey, Dave, just go back to that one thing that you just said.
Yes.
Go ahead, you want to talk to Desiree?
Desiree wanted, yeah.
I was just wondering when this was gonna be implemented, if it was. The following year or the year after?
Yeah, that's the other thing that we gotta come up with, is when do we start charging the monthly?
It would
It's
have
gotta
to
be-
be January.
January 25th.
Yeah,
It'd be January 25.
But Dave, just what you're talking about the emergency fund. So that is supposed to be, we can stop putting money into that once it's 1.5% of the. So by doing this, we would be putting more money into that fund before we.
That's 1.5% of the prior
we
year's.
put more money into it, so it's gonna grow quicker. But at the same time, once it's complete to the maximum, you got more money here for
Yeah,
infrastructure.
and what's the maximum that you put in?
1.5.
1.5% of what you take in.
Not 1.5%, it's gotta be 1.5 times the annual assessments.
150%.
Expenses.
All right.
Expenses,
Yeah.
it's 1.5.
1.5
times
Okay, I couldn't.
the annual expenses.
And
Yep,
Isn't that 5% a year? I feel like it's up to 1.5%.
Correct. yep, right, we got a 1.5% of the,
5% a year.
5% of the
But
collective.
5% of 2.5 million is a lot better than 5% of.
Until it gets up to 1.5.
Right.
Desiree has questions.
and then, oh, it's not hearing, give me a second.
So did I, so hurry up.
It was gonna be implemented, because it's gonna go through city and village, are we automatically getting put into a monthly payment, or will we have to contact them if we're gonna do it annually or not? How would that work?
I don't think it's gonna be able to be done annually, right?
Monthly.
It'll be monthly and they'll take
So
care
there's
of
no
all.
annual option, it's gonna be monthly, and it would start in
If
January.
you did it annually, even if we could get that worked out, you'd have to pay for it at the beginning of the year.
In January.
So the annual, okay.
Yep, annual comes out. As long as the annual piece stays in there, we can't realize the revenue until that date hits. So like, right now, if somebody's prepaying the assessment, I can't use the money until July and the assessment hits. So if you go to monthly, we can realize the revenue every month.
So if somebody misses their payment in a month, they're gonna get charged late fees, or is it not gonna be?
That's same as the way it is right now.
I would say this, if we go to monthly, I would think we put a delinquent date that's not month to month to month. I mean, that's gonna be a nightmare to manage and handle. So I mean, I would think
Well,
that,
you get a report from them every month.
so I mean, I think we have to discuss.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna go after anybody in small claims for $150, but
No, but I'm just wondering if there's gonna be any added extra fees for it, or if it's gonna be at the end when they're just delinquent period.
You know, I mean, this is not, don't take this to, because all of you have to agree to it, but I would think that, you know what? You set it up, you pay it monthly. If at the end of the year it isn't paid, then we go through the delinquent process, charge the late fees. You know, go through the lien
That makes
filing
more sense.
process.
You might have a bad month or something and then.
Well, that was my question, I
Heads
was
up.
asking if there's gonna be any extra fees or anything.
All right,
Can we,
we need to keep going.
whoever hasn't asked a
Yeah, sorry.
question on it, ask it, and then can we hold them until.
anybody, Greg, real quick?
Okay, mine pretty much was, John, you mentioned that if I would pay annually, you can't really use it until a much later date.
In today's-
It can be changed to make it, so that if I wanted to pay in advance, I could.
You could still pay.
We change it,
Can't use it.
we change the assessment to a monthly assessment, not an annual. And that would let me realize the revenue each month,
For that.
or let the POA, not me, or let the POA realize it each month.
Okay, wouldn't wait.
Yes, sir, in the back.
Well, we're,
So I couldn't answer.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't see your hand up. I seen you writing. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Oh, I was just gonna make a statement. So you're talking about defining when is somebody delinquent. So any reference in the governing documents, the covenants, the bylaws, the rules manual, the ACC manual needs to be looked at prior to, because if this passes, then you have to change all those other references. For example, the voting that you just talked about says you have to be in good standing within 30 days before the date of the election, or 30 days. You know, you have to be in good standing to vote, to do all these other things.
Good point.
So the good standing would just be as long as you're paid up to the point.
Previous month.
That's a good point, though.
Right.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of things in the covenants we'd have to look through. And if you, they're, just for future, if we want to discuss this further, we could, you could put a deadline on it, or can't change it for 5 years or whatever. Is there anybody else out there that?
Okay, so Dave, this is gonna be just one of your assessment increase things that are coming out right
That's
now.
my one. They have a couple also.
Okay, fine, okay. All
And
right.
that's my question, if they all compete with each other and we end up losing again.
Well,
That's
one,
my concern.
We as a board.
yeah, one
We
thing,
we push forward to this community.
one thing that Dave,
Big one.
we don't know. No, one thing that Dave read was this one that's just, for lack of a other term, all in. If all in passes, any other ballot item for an assessment increase is negated. If this one doesn't pass, then you go to the other ones.
Right, I just think if there's 3 assessment increases, people do get confused and they just start saying, no, no, no.
So it's in your document. It says that if this passes, it negates any other assessment.
It's here confusing for people.
All right, we're gonna take one last question, and I'm gonna ask you to keep the questions till the open forum.
I just want to point out, if you have multiple, assessment ballot items, you're splitting the voting in, you know how that.
We're not gonna structure them that way. They're independent of each other. Last year, that ballot item, to get it on the ballot, was giving you a choice within the question. This isn't this is, you're gonna vote on, if we put more than one ballot choice on for assessment, you're gonna vote them independently.
I would think hard about how you so.
I don't disagree.
I agree.
I don't disagree with that, but my option is 1 and 1 only, because you put one on there, they see another one, and they're gonna think, holy shit, I'm spending $2,500 a year.
It's a yes or no. People were
Yes or no.
black and white.
I agree.
Well, that didn't work last year.
Yeah, yes, there wasn't yes or no.
But if you're just walking in and you've never been to the meeting,
Yeah, they wouldn't.
you don't understand what you're voting on, you just.
Well, part of the reason that's just my own 2 cents of this is, you go in this election with one ballot item and it fails, it's gonna be almost 2 years before you get any more money in. So I think you need to give some options. This one, as some people said, it's a radical change to what we do today. It may not get voted in. If you don't have something else in there, like Denny has one about, some money for roads. If we don't put that on the ballot and this fails, you got absolutely nothing,
I would like to add one thing to that. I don't disagree with you, John. But now that we got this new voting system, it doesn't cost us $4,000 or $5,000 for an election. We could do a special election a month later.
And it does cost you, because you gotta
We
do
got
a
a
news.
little bit of mailings.
Legal review, you need the mailing.
It ain't gonna cost near what it did.
Well, it won't cost near what it does, but you're still talking probably close to $4,000. Not insignificant.
I think it's good that, okay, we have that option, your option, and then that's something that we discuss. Okay.
All right, we need to vote on this still, all of it.
Motion, what motion did I second?
Multiple, you need to make sure that you have clear explanation that one is trying to talking about all in, if you go through that excludes the other 2, and they need to be clear, because what happened last time. So,
But just remember, last year, if you remember the question, it had options within the question.
You're right.
On it, and we're not gonna do that again. It's an independent, so like I said, we can tweak the verbiage, but if all in passes, The other ones are nullified. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yes or no?
You're gonna put this as a ballot item number 1 and the other one's 12 and 13.
I'm all with you, Dave.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep rolling.
Votes after.
Okay, we're gonna go forward, hold these questions still open for them, so we can get through these. Ballot.
Hang on, we
We
didn't
got-
vote.
Hold on.
We got it.
All in favor signify with an eye. All opposed? Sounds like everybody out there voted too. so.
Yep.
All right,
Number 10.
number 10. Number 10 is what Greg just mentioned. It's got all the same stipulations of the all-in. Except the dollar amount's different. Based on the town hall and the information the realtor community gave us. It is an average of the lake and Gulf. Gotta have both lake and Gulf communities. And the difference in this is that it's $110 a month or $13.20 annually. Everything that we just talked about remains the same. It's monthly on it. So everything that was included in the other ones included in this one. It's just a different price structure. The big one with this one, there's no differentiation between homes and lots. Whether you have a home or a lot, it's the same price. Tag on it. This one I think would be $2.9 million. On the revenue side of it, the same thing, the COLA goes away. Everything that we just talked about is identical to this, the dollar amount is different. And it came from the town hall, it came out of the town hall, it's like, why don't we do an average of these, and there are a few of those lake golf communities that they have no differentiation between a lot or a home, and I think when you look at Braintree, as far as what your amenity access, everything is the same, whether you own $1 million house here or whether you own a $200 lot. It doesn't matter, you got the same. So I don't have any favoritism one way or other this, I just put it in because timeline, I didn't know anybody was gonna put it in from the town hall on Tuesday night, so it came up out of the town hall.
I'm just thinking out loud. I'm thinking, okay. This is 1,800. 13. So if a lot owner really doesn't want to pay 13, they're gonna come to you because it's 600. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they're, if
So
they're
that
reading it right,
would,
that's.
you know what I'm
they do.
saying? So that would be a good thing for us homeowners. You know what I'm saying? So if you had both of them on the ballot, they can vote yay or nay. If I'm a lot owner, and I'm looking at 1,300 versus 600, I'm going with you.
Yeah, I agree. But if you're a homeowner.
Yeah.
What are you gonna vote?
Yeah, true.
A lot more homeowners.
Yeah.
A lot.
That it true.
Until assessment comes up.
Until an assessment comes up, but I mean, that's a win-win. I mean. more
Yeah,
money
you
than-
said last year was 6-1 homeowners.
Yeah.
There were some significant assessments and items on the ballot last year, and it still was 6-1. So
It's the COLA one, if I'm right. I think there was more people that year.
this Scantron is gonna be nice because we're gonna be able to know that information quick and easily.
We don't have to sit around.
Problem with, that I see with that is, let's just say for sake of argument, the second one goes through or gets on the ballot. You got $1.3 million in lots that you could be forfeiting. Cause I guarantee, well, I don't guarantee, but there's, people are complaining about $600 for a lot, they're definitely gonna squawk at 1,300.
I mean, I don't know if anybody has this or not, but. You know, can you get lake, beach, our other amenity access for $226 a year on a lake anywhere?
No,
Can you drop your boat, into a lake for that amount and?
it's not about reality,
No, I
it's
get it.
about action. reality.
Well, and we know clearly today that 90 some odd percent of our delinquents are lots. They're not homes.
Okay,
I just want to say, they said the same thing with the country club. Oh, we have to, everybody has to pay the country club. All these lots are gonna go to the county, and we're about half.
We was like 430 and we're like 280.
282.
So 282. I bought 2 lots myself.
I don't disagree with that. I think, and the goal is that people buy that own a home, buy more lots, and people that wanna build a home, now you're getting 1,800
I'm
versus
trying to
600.
encourage my sons to buy, there's already lots out here by the assessor's office, $1,100, and they're already combined.
Is there anybody here that owns just a lot without a home? So just straw poll, what is your thoughts of 1,300 versus 600? If you want to think about it, so there's no intention of building on it or just an access lot? Right,
So much money.
yeah.
And then they're, they go.
Well,
That's true.
I mean, one of the things that with a higher level assessment, like today, what we're finding out is it's expensive to go after the lot owner that owes you $226. It won't even, you can't even pay 1 hour of an attorney, at that level. So if now you owe, more money, you could pay for a lawyer to go after them while they're not paying the assessment. I mean, for us today, if the lawyer collected, we get our money back. But if they don't collect the judgment, we just spent lawyer money at a higher level than what the assessment they owe us is. So it's
The one thing I would like to say about the lots, and I do agree with you, Dave, that lots have been sold, but it's more of people buying the extra lots than it is people coming up clean with the payment of what they're delinquent on. So that's what would concern me. If 1,300, they're more likely to let it go, and then we're dependent on somebody else purchasing it. But again, buying a lot for 600 versus 1,300, even if it does go to the county, seems smarter. Yes, Jerry, I've been waiting for this all night.
Now, with your proposal, they pay $50 a month.
Correct.
Now, with his proposal, do they pay $50 a month, or is it a set fee?
It wouldn't be 50, it'd be 110.
So all around, your proposal is the best one.
I knew I loved you for some reason.
I'm all in on your.
I'm all in. I think there should be one proposal.
I think there should be one. I think 2 of them is gonna scare people off.
Well, we've got a third one that we're looking at too.
you got it. I mean,
We probably ought to look at one.
some of them that we already reviewed were putting a partially improved level in. The late fee really isn't, to me, an assessment change. The assessment's the same, you're changing the late fee. Denny's got the one for a roads fund on there. So, and again, just my 2 cents on it. The board's gonna vote, but you go in with the all in and it fails, you got no more money and no provision for getting any more money until we do another election.
Special assessment election.
Good.
Let's, yeah, Dottie.
Okay, he's got that road, we need the road one. If you put the road one, then a lot of people, I hear a lot of people saying, I know they don't really need money, and I think we can get it through. Okay, you got that, it's in your back pocket. Next year, you can put up yours. And then if that doesn't pass, we still got the roads.
The only problem with that is I hear more complaints about the lakes and beaches and coves than I do the roads. And then take care of all 4 of them at once.
You would, but.
For clarification, when I said there should only be one on the ballot, I think the road one should be on the ballot, but there should only be one that talks about the all-in assessments versus, 150 a month versus 110. I still think that should be on there, and it's superseded if this one passes. I'm not saying there should just be one total. I do think there needs to be a road one, but I think there should only be one of the other kinds, because we learned our lesson from the last time.
Okay, but everybody keeps going, we learned our lesson. Read the ballot item. The
But
ballot,
even
the
though they're
only,
not-
but the only way the ballot item was getting passed to go on the ballot was 2 different options for road. Because one of them kept us in the same world we were in. The other one let us truly make some dent in it. So it was one ballot item that had two different choices.
Right, there's still
But
two
we're-
choices, whether,
But we're talking two totally independent, separate things.
Understand.
You're gonna vote yes, no, you're gonna vote yes, no. They're independent, and one, if it passes, trumps the other. So if Denny's roads assessment goes on the ballot, along with an all-in option, if the all-in option passes, we have to nullify the roads.
Yeah,
Let me throw something out here. We say the all-in cancels anything else, so I vote for the all-in. Or I don't vote the all-in because I want to pay for the roads. And the roads technically wins as well as the all-in, but now I'm paying $1,800 versus. Whatever, what was the,
250.
250.
so that could be really, that's almost like a sleight of hand.
All that, you vote them independently. One of them passes, if the all-in passes, because it includes the roads, you can't have a separate road, so it nullifies the road vote.
Person is voting for something that's gonna be less of a payment. And they win, they actually win the vote.
It doesn't matter. It matters as to what you stated. If the
right, but
all-in
eventually,
wins,
they're gonna go vote for the road and say, yeah, then I'll do no on the other.
Yeah.
they could. I mean, they could, and that's their right and prerogative to do so.
That's gonna split the vote, just
It's
like
gonna-
last year.
Yep,
It won't split the
I
vote
think it will.
because it's not written the same way. They're two independent, separate ballot items. So for each one independent.
Hang on a minute. The R.
Pick one, pick one. If you put more than one choice on there.
and they'll go the low route.
Then pass, set it up the next month for a vote.
It's $4,000 to do it. You guys gonna pony up $4,000?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's, is there a ballot, is there a motion for ballot items then?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Going once, twice. Motion declined.
So we're gonna just do the one.
for the all in, that John was all in with a little another.
1,300.
All right, number 11.
Well, okay, hang on a second. We need to go back and settle these other assessment related items with this, because even though we already discussed them and they went to the attorney, we've got Denny's assessment for the road, $250 per year. For the first 3 years.
What ballot item? number?
It's number 6, number 6. For the road.
So are we pulling that one? Is it staying?
Well,
Because again,
want me to make that decision?
well, I'm just asking the question.
Okay.
before. Because the all-in one, it would nullify this one.
I don't see any problem with it. I think it should go.
I would agree, because if your all-in doesn't pass and this one passes, at least you've got some money for roads.
Correct.
Might not fix the road problem the way you want it fixed, but it's not. Yep.
Well, I'm just thinking that we're,
Don't come
Just doing the
correct
same
me if
thing.
this passes and the other one doesn't.
yeah, I'm just thinking that we're just doing the Band-Aid again and again and again. We're not addressing all the problems that were our issues. We think the lakes. You know, the roads, security. I mean, people want
I think
a
we can
guard.
pitch the all-in.
Yeah, just pitch the all in and. That, yeah,
So we're removing the one for the roads.
we gotta,
So somebody
Hey,
had-
what does your proposal go for?
Hang on a minute. Denny's will bring in 1.671 million over 3 years. We already.
That sounds right.
If we already established to do all 41 miles, it's gonna be 9.4 million over 5 to 6 years.
That's an estimate, not a bid.
Well, it's what, it's an estimate off of the bid we got for 200 for 1 mile, right?
Asphalt only, no base work.
And I think I raised that to 12 million just to cover the underlayment. So what was your question, Jerry?
What is, on your proposal, what is your proposal entail? I mean, what is that money going toward?
Infrastructure.
Okay.
I mean, it's in the general fund, but it's for infrastructure.
You can't entail the roads, or you can't put the roads into that.
It's all
Well,
done.
roads, isn't it?
His proposal is not in mine. The funds from his are in mine. If that makes sense. My proposal will cover what his roads will do.
But his would just be more.
Just for
Just because.
And since it's a special assessment. Would be a special.
Gotcha.
I make a motion that we just do all in. One ballot item.
Well, before we go that route, is there a motion for ballot item number 6? Or do we already have it?
We already did, because it went to the, yeah. We can then move it, or
So then the motion, well, I guess the motion is removed, it is the same as one motion for all in.
it's one ballot item for a special.
The way we wrote all in is that all in passes and nullifies any other assessment.
Well, I can change that one.
No, it does. Keep it simple.
Yeah, you gotta keep it simple.
This might be. I'd like to suggest looking into adding the money that Wendy's proposal would raise.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Can you guys be quiet, please? Thank you.
So I would look into Denny's would raise X number of dollars. In the all-in-one, say X% of the money raised would, for the next 3 years, would go towards roads.
That's approximately $390,000. That's already gonna be there.
Right, but if we really, really need it for roads, earmark that percentage to do the roads, and then whatever's left, you divvy up between the lakes and beaches and then all that. One of the items that was.
That could kill,
some
that
actually,
could kill the lake stuff, but.
well,
Or the
let
lake.
me finish.
Mhm.
Some of the suggestions from the town hall were to tell us what you're going to spend this money on that you want us to now increase our assessments for.
That is in there. I just recited all that, at-large items.
That's what the 1.5 million.
$1.5 million, 9.4 million, which actually I said,
Yeah.
Text, a
Yeah.
ballot.
well, it is.
Because we don't see that. so
Yeah,
I don't-
you should see the reasoning behind it. But the 9.4 million, I actually raised it to 12 million just to cover for. Things like a road that isn't even started yet, a road that has to be torn up, but the underlayment is good, a road that is just needing everything done to it, so it
so
would
that's
cover.
Yes.
justification,
Mhm.
What you guys see in front of you that we can't see
Right.
right now.
Right, he's got 12 million to get roads up to standard, it, once complete 6 to 10 years. And then about 200,000 to 500,000 for maintenance of the roads. With this all in, he's got, 1,500,000 to the lakes treated properly, with that being upfront, it's gonna be a bigger cost for the lakes to get started. So yes, he has all that, and security, $150,000 per year for security guard during the evening and off hours. That's a proposal part of security, or, you know, so, yeah, so he has that, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that would be included as
Right.
what we get. in-
Right, that would
we go.
Yeah.
We gotta keep. that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Break it up.
It only happens once a year, you might as well suck it up. Yes, ma'am.
It's a big kind of moment. So if we are tripling, just about tripling the assessment for lot owners, 225 times would be 675 instead of 600. If we triple the 420 that we're currently paying for homeowners, because we're still paying more, which has been the history of it, then you're looking at, sorry, what did I say? 35 times 3, which is $105. So it's equitable. It's not like homeowners saying, look, they're only tripling theirs, but they're increasing ours by like 5, times. So I don't know, it's just a thought to try to make that number, that big jump in 1 year, a little more palatable for people.
Well, it's not as a year, it's as a month.
Right, it's a month, I'm sorry, it's a month.
So by doing it per month, it doesn't damage it as hard, or it doesn't seem like you're getting hit as hard.
And it doesn't, I mean, 105.
$39.99 is not $4,000.
I'm just saying, make the increase equitable on each side, like if it's 3 times as much, it should be 3 times as much on either.
If we didn't have 24 different billing codes, that might work, I think, but by going to 2 different billing codes makes it so much simpler for the management company, for the office staff, for QuickBooks.
The issue behind it is at that dollar amount, you can't be all in.
Yeah.
So what goes back on the table as a selling point? We're taking these things off of a dish, because some people say we nickel and dime everybody to death for everything. It's like, it's 1 fee unless you're doing a big construction project or you get fined. That's it.
I'm all for it. I
Right,
just
so
think
I understand it's a jump, but if we drop, $500 off of every homeowner, we don't have enough money coming in to stay with all in. So you can't count it as all in, and you're gonna lose the benefits of it, so.
And I think it's gonna have to come from not just us, because right now, we, the board, have such bad reputation about stuff. I mean, if you all can, our town hall, those people that came to the town hall were awesome, had great ideas and stuff like that. We get our community behind it and you talk it up, that will help. But if you're gonna sit and badmouth everything, it's not gonna happen. We could say, we're gonna raise it $10, but because we're the board and we're bad, that's, I'm sorry, that's where I'm at. So, we all need you to help us,
That's why we need one.
I don't think anybody here is saying that's a really bad idea.
Yeah,
but
here's no, I'm not saying.
Here's the 2 sides of it. People come out here and say, oh my God, I only gotta pay $400 for assessments. That's unheard of. But then everybody's bitching about the roads and the lake and the coves and whatnot. But if somebody says, man, I gotta pay $1,600 a year for this, wow, this is worth it now. I think you gotta look at, we can't look at the negative and we gotta look at the positive, and we are basically living on 40-year-old covenants and bylaws and terms here. And it's either about looking forward and forgetting the past, or we're gonna be in this forever.
We've gotten away with it for 40 years, or the community has gotten away with it for 40 years, but let's not wait for a crisis.
And I know this goes against Benny's vote, or to take that 2 votes off, but it kind of all falls in line. Is you're gonna have 6-to-1 property owners voting, and they're the one bringing the bread and butter to the table. So I know it's an unfortunate way to look at it, but it is our livelihood in a whole lot here now. Not that folks in lots don't come out and fish and do everything and whatnot, and members of the community, but somebody that actually resides out here, that's why we're asking for the increase. We voted on mine, why are we still talking about it? So we need to vote on, is there a motion for the roads? Or to remove it, well, Tilly did technically.
Yeah, just to have one ballot item.
Second, any discussion?
Yeah, there's plenty of discussion. If we just have the 1 ballot item, all in thing, and it fails, we don't have any money for roads. Nothing. So we're gonna go another 2 years down the road without getting any major road work done at all.
No, I think the game plan is a special assessment.
Yeah, we can't do a special election.
Yeah,
we can. It's gonna cost $4 grand.
It's
Do
gonna
it.
cost $4 grand.
Let's pay $4 grand. I'll risk $4 grand. I would
too.
$4 grand.
For getting this.
By the way, you're recorded here, so you're not.
Way of getting them paid.
Let's put that in perspective. If all that fails, and we say we agree to put a special assessment on, and it cost us $4 grand, and that fails, then we know the destination of the subdivision at that point. If that, neither one of them pass,
Right, right.
they don't care about the roads, they don't care about the lakes.
That point, tell your.
I think we take the guy.
Yeah, I did too.
I did too.
Sorry, Danny.
We got them.
I think we need to, but we'll come back to what you.
Yeah, I'm not against going after them if they don't make it.
And we go straight to Denny's idea, but let's. I know you don't think it's the same, John, but I do think giving people too many options. It makes it splits the vote.
Hang on, Glenn, we're gonna vote. real quick. All in favor of the one ballot item, signify with an eye,
Being removed.
To be removed at,
or being removed as well, yeah.
Yes.
okay.
Aye.
All opposed,
No,
motion passes.
Can I ask, can you make a motion on that if it does fail, then this kicks in? Make that decision now?
No, I don't think so.
We can't, because there'll be a new board seated after the immediately after the election, so they're gonna have to be the ones to put it in.
All right, where are we at, number 11 now?
Okay, this is real quick. I mean,
Okay.
basically,
Real quick.
no, it will.
Okay.
Basically, there were really kind of two issues that pushed this with the Architectural Control Committee. Currently, when you're building a home, the homeowner posts a bond, and then the contractor has to post a bond, which covers the road cut. And the road cuts are a real issue. So, and really what's happening is the homeowner is actually cutting a check to the contractor. So the goal was to combine it together and then increase basically the deposit that was held back. Because the current $2,000 is almost to the point of being insufficient to fix a bad road cut. So the goal was to basically reduce the bond by $1,500. All the bond would come from the person building the home, the homeowner. And that then 2,500 would be held back, and once the road cut was approved, then that 2,500 would go back to the homeowner. It kind of takes the contractor out of it. It ensures the homeowner who posts the bond to do it. There is one error in this proposed. If you look, I'm here on the bottom of 2, and I went back and looked at what we had done. This 2,000 should be 2,500.
Right here,
Okay.
balance,
Right here,
balance,
right.
2,500.
Right, so the math adds up and that actually comes in, so. $1,500, the bond is $1,500 less. $1,500 less is being refunded, so that's a wash, so it's a $7,000 bond. It's a refund of $4,500 goes back once the structure is done. $2,500 is held back for the road cut. And that it's refunded if the road cut passes inspection, but if it's not, then 2,500 is sufficient at this point in time to replace the road cut.
I think.
Nice.
We're gonna retain.
Danny,
Very good.
We're
gonna retain that
4,500, not give 4,500.
I'm sorry, correct. That's correct. But so, yes, the homeowner's paying 1,500 less, they're getting 1,500 less back. But what it does is increase the road cut deposit by 500, which is sufficient funds at this point in time to cover fixing a bad road cut.
And it'll give them the incentive to fix it right.
It's the homeowner. I mean, my contractor told me, you do the road cut. I mean, it just really kind of streamlines it. It puts it on the homeowner, and the homeowner isn't cutting checks to the contractor, and it just.
You don't have to rely on that. So my numbers are right.
Yes, the only, yes.
Was that 2,500?
Right, effective by, and refund 2,500 of such a $7,000 bond.
Okay.
And that reflects what my notes are
Okay.
here from when we did it.
Okay.
So,
Alrighty.
Seems like a no-brainer to me.
How many item is that?
11.
2A is the,
Oh, I'm sorry, 2A.
Wait,
wanna make a motion?
I made a motion that we put that on.
I will second that. Any discussion?
One is this, that if we're changing the ballot item, I would do 2 things to it. One is remove that it can be paid in cash. It's a lot of money for somebody to be dealing with in cash and the office to be dealing with. I would also propose that we take, and it's near the bottom third of the page, is remove that this money goes into the general fund and the money goes into the roads fund.
All right, the first, yeah,
There's several small projects.
we don't want Bitcoin. You know, I mean, cash is equivalent, a check is cash, a certified check is cash.
We do check or credit card. Other than this particular item, that's the only thing, and it's a lot of money for somebody to be walking around with cash. We gotta drive it to the bank to deposit it. So I would say that this needs to stick with the rest. It's check or credit card. That's how we put the deposit down.
I think that's how it's actually written now, because that's.
Can you
not
just
being
write
changed.
payment rather than has to be
The
submitted?
fee must be submitted.
Payment must be submitted prior to, and that way it kind of doesn't handcuff anybody in case we change things in the future. Can you just change it to payment?
Payment must be submitted.
Payment must be submitted. And then take out in cash or equivalent.
Just the payment must be submitted to the Rangeley property. Oh, and don't like putting the office in that position, having that kind of money.
$8,500 in cash.
Because they've been.
$250, so.
But if you just say payment.
This only applies
You can
to,
say payment, if somebody comes up in the office and, I'm sorry.
Dave, this only applies to a home bill.
Right.
It doesn't apply to anything else under the sun, only a home bill. It doesn't apply to a $250 bond. It doesn't apply to $1,000. It applies to a home bill. That's what this document in the covenant states in it. So, since we don't take cash, that's a lot of money to be floating around. They get robbed on the way to driving to the bank.
Yeah.
You know, we're out that money and we have to pay back the deposit. So I don't really see a reason behind it. So if we're gonna put this on the ballot, let's change
All right,
the piece of it.
I'll amend my motion to take out, the fee must be submitted to the Raintree Plantation take out in
Take out
cash or
that.
equivalent.
And then, the other one is a couple sentences below. I put this to, the roads fund. I mean, you're talking about a deposit that's really for the home plus the road cut. But that would be my suggestion is instead of it going to the general fund, put it to the roads.
It takes 6 months or more before you know if the road cut's any good.
You're supposed to wait a year, I believe.
Yeah.
So where do you want that at?
The 4,500 and or the 2,500 if it's not,
Yeah,
well,
because 2,500, if you keep
Instead of
it,
general.
it says it goes to the roads fund. But the overall goes to the general revenue fund. And I'm just
think that's
proposing to put
fair.
it all
Well,
to the road.
roads.
That's a
Okay.
good point. But
See what it says general fund, make it.
Because it's all about roads.
It's about, force, it's
Okay.
3 sentences below.
Got it.
Cash.
All right, be placed in the
Roads fund.
roads fund.
we're helping you with that roads fund, Denny.
All right, so I'll amend my motion to amend that change, to reflect that change as well.
Dave, you still second?
Yes. All in favor, signify with an eye. All opposed. Motion passes. All right. Well,
Okay, this one, Mr. Helen did have this withdrawn.
Oh, we asked for it to be withdrawn, okay. Okay.
13, Mike and Linda Camden. Red indicates existing, green, boy, I like that. Color coded. Mike, yes. Let's go, so we just have a. Okay, so this is. 2C, ACC garage driveways parking. Red indicates existing, all secondary parking pavement materials. May be approved by Architectural Control Committee, and there's another section in here that says no parking of vehicles, trailers, boats, personal watercraft, RVs, or any other similar personal property is permitted on an undeveloped lot. That is current. What wants to be changed to is on the part that says durable paved except to existing parking, all secondary parking must be concrete instead of paved materials. And then the second section, it says no parking of vehicles, trailers, boats, personal watercraft, RVs, or any other similar personal property is permitted on undeveloped lots. What's changing is adding unless an ACC approved concrete driveway has been installed and extends from the street. Only these vehicles can be parked on such a driveway. Vehicles with current stickers, hang tag parking pass, boats with fitted cover on boat trailer, with current rain tree stickers, open trailer, empty, enclosed cargo trailer. That is it. Everybody understand that? Basically, we're making concrete the only approved by ACC.
So does this mean you can go out and buy one of these lots from the county, put a driveway on it and park your boat there?
I was gonna say, that's my next question. Are we saying that this?
Or is
what
it
we're gonna-
only for,
Homes-
improved,
oh,
homeowners? Lots that have a home on them? Like, could I go out and buy one on Forest Drive and put a concrete driveway and put my boat there instead of my driveway?
What we have understood by coming to various meetings, that is already happening, where people have undeveloped
Okay.
lots and they're parking stuff, so we can't seem to enforce that well enough, I don't think, and I thought at some point it seemed like there were gravel drives on these undeveloped lots, but the rule was that you can't park on them. So it's like, so why is there a gravel?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, no.
What your intention is.
Yeah, and this is why it's a little weird, because it's like trying to bring us to the point of, are we accepting that people can have an undeveloped lot that can park their boat on it if it's a concrete, so it looks nice, because, you know, their boat, their RV, whatever, because it seems to be happening anyway. So at least let's make it look nice. That's the idea, but.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Boats, vehicles.
Say it again.
I said, so it would be random cars, trailers, boats, and not just the few that we have that are sprinkled throughout Braintree, it would be on any lot that somebody decides to develop on. Which would also, because it's developed upon with having the concrete driveway, that's gonna put it in the middle of, is it developed or not?
Again, it says prior.
We have another-
has to go.
Yeah.
That validating needs to come back out because of the all in, so there's not the tier of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not partially
it's
developed.
not partially developed, but, well, part of Denny and I did the research on this is that there's nothing concretely saying that you can't put a driveway on an undeveloped lot. What's controlled is, through the covenant, is you can't park anything on it, anything. And you can't park the stuff in the grass. Well, you know, my 4-year-old grandson's learning how to count, so I wanted to see how high he could count, so we drove around Autumn Lake. There's about 30 of these driveways on a lot. There's stuff parked all over in the grass, on the street, in the street. You know, so we have, basically today, we have another one of these conflicts, is that, you know, you can't stop them from doing the driveway. I mean, ACC could potentially say, no, I'm not gonna approve it, but you can't park it. Why would somebody put a driveway on a lot? With the intent that you
People
can't.
live on the lake, they make a gravel road that goes down through the lake, and it's just temporary, because when they do build, they're gonna get rid of all that.
Yep.
That's what we found.
Right.
And most people should have access to the lot, one way or the other, they shouldn't have.
Right. Well, and I think one of the things too about this is, it doesn't cost a whole heck of a lot of money to get a truck in here that can just drive down and dump the rock. If it's rock, but if you gotta put a concrete driveway on this empty lot, I think people are gonna think twice about, am I gonna invest the money to put?
So what's gonna be the consequence of what they're trying to avoid, people parking a boat on
Wendy,
a gravel?
can we call the HVAC guy tomorrow? Well, it was 77 when we walked in, and they turned it down to 70, and now it's 78.
Hot air in here, but.
I think rules separate from this, if it passes, rules has to put, you know, the sensors in.
So are you saying no gravel at all? Like, for instance, I have the concrete driveway and I want to add an extension to the side. Do I have to do concrete on that? I would be against that.
With it, because you own a home and you're
Yeah.
putting in an extra drive area that's gravel.
Yes. Because I'm just saying, when I drive around, there are people, I've submitted it to architectural control. I don't know if you've got it. I'm Becky Maxwell. You know, I'm gonna line it with nice paver edging, you know, I'm gonna make it look good. but I don't have $10,000 to put in concrete, so my alternative is to park on the road. So do you want me off the road, or do you want me, I'm gonna make it look nice. But I can't afford $10,000 for sure, so I mean, that's just all I'm saying.
And unfortunately, a lot of owners don't have the investment to invest
Right.
$10,000.
The question I have, I
Nothing.
think this contradicts what we do with car stickers, because you say in here that only these vehicles can be parked vehicles with current stickers, hang tag and parking pass, boats are fitted covered. But we don't, right now, there is no real rule other than parking in common areas to have a sticker, right? So we would have to tweak that you don't actually have to have a sticker on the car to park in that.
So the idea there was that they are home, that they belong here, so,
They're registered.
I get the reason, but it just contradicts the other. Oh, no. Well, it wouldn't be.
Right, so in that instance,
So we're saying you have to, if you're gonna do this. And put it.
That's what they didn't bring in.
That's what this says. I don't think the other one says it. Oh, I agree.
Well,
Just don't want to get in another thing where we pass one and it's this,
Well,
anything another.
and of course, we're just saying that he feels that
Hang on,
like,
please.
if she wants to do that, you go through ACC, you get approval, you do that.
I mean, we did
And
that
if you don't, then I'm sorry,
right,
Yeah, like the guy filling up next to the road, bringing gravel in and, I mean, we look at all that stuff.
so are we gonna grandfather in all the ones that have the gravel, or?
Well, that's my question.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, 2 years ago, there was a ballot item that got pulled. That was, you can't have a driveway on a lot. So it's not, if you adjoined it, you can't put it on the adjoining property, it's gotta be. Cause I think the covenants read that it has to be connected to the street. As close to the dwelling as possible. Well, I don't know whether people did it on their own. Or whether they got approved or not approved, but we got them. And a couple of years ago, the ballot item got pulled because you had to grandfather everybody who already had one. I'm not even sure we know everybody who has one today. So.
it is where it doesn't say new.
Yeah.
It's a small word. we find this.
Right.
Technically, we should still censure anybody that is parked on a lot, whether gravel or not. So they can have their gravel lot there, but they don't need to be able to park anything on it then, at that point.
I think it goes back to the enforcement. I'm like.
Can we
The
make-
point of it is if we do this, and like this lady, and you guys monitor it and, make sure it's done right. That if we go that route and allow gravel or some kind of hard surface, that ACC has got to be at the top of their game, that if somebody report, hey, this guy did it, well, too bad, too sad. It's got to be censured, it's got to be remove it or get it done right through you guys, because that's what we noticed about a year or so ago, that we had this issue with people just throwing gravel driveways in, and it never went through ACC, and somebody pointed it out, and after the fact, it's, the whole ask for forgiveness scenario.
Well, maybe it could be that people who report or whatever, that there's a gravel driveway. You just relay that to Forrest and say, hey, Forrest, this is somebody that's got a gravel driveway. Was it approved? And they say no. He can take a look at it and say, well, you needed to do this.
Usually find that out, but if I get a censure when it goes towards ACC stuff, I just bring it up to the meeting and have the committee decide.
Oh, okay.
If.
I mean, that works good. That works good.
Obviously, the first step would be to say, hey, you didn't get this approved, you didn't do it right. Let's work together to get it done right, instead of slapping them with a censure right away.
And that's what we've done on a few situations.
Yeah.
My very short tenure, yeah.
And require them to give you their email address. So they get communication.
I think
Yes, ma'am.
I think that worries me with doing that, with letting them put a slab or rock on their lot, is letting them do that, is what else are they gonna put in there? So I think.
That's what I'm saying, ACCs and rules are gonna have to be all over that,
Yeah, that's the only problem.
and our new security guard
I'm good with it.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a concrete driveway and you wanna put decorative rocks in front of your house and on the side of your driveway, can you do that, or do you need special permission to do that if you already have your driveway?
As long as it's decorative border, that's landscaping, you could do it.
Not
If you're
supposed to
gonna,
park on it.
if you're gonna make it wide enough to park something on it, it would have to be concrete if this
But if
passed.
you wanna rock your whole yard, so you don't have to landscape at all.
You're gonna be pulling a lot of weeds.
Let's say some of that drive. I mean,
Joe, you got something? Hang on, folks. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah. Right, oh, yeah. I agree with that.
If it passes. If it passes, and we can find the property.
Optimistic when it passes.
Okay.
I would say it's a little bit more now, easy to digest after having the discussion.
you know.
I agree with you, Joe.
Like, part of it, for the people, hang on, for the people that are,
Hang on a second.
Well, I know how I feel about it. I don't want to pay $1,800 a year and have the place look like a store.
Yeah. Good point. Great point.
Concrete, rock, it doesn't.
It does already for $400 a
Well,
year.
if the roof leaks, that's what-
Right, that's what Joe said. I think
2 concrete.
that's the problem, Tom, that people are complaining that they're already doing it. They're parking it on dirt, they're parking it on gravel. I think what Linda and Mike are saying is,
Make it look nice.
See,
It can still look nice.
I just don't believe in not enforcing rules because you're not being enforced. If you want a rule, you want the subdivision to look the way it is, then enforce the rule.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. That's why I said the forest.
And by the way, the AC is working on this, air flow.
Is it?
Yeah.
Man,
I turned the fan on. It wasn't running. Well, the fan wasn't running? The fan wasn't running. I put it on fan. So it's just circulating air. No, the AC run. Is it? Yeah. There's cold air coming out. Cold inside.
we're putting a board table back there next month.
They're not supposed to. Like John said, you can have a driveway, but you can't park it.
Yeah, there's no definitive plans.
Part of it, so our neighbor asked, he's got a trailer that he wants to inside. So
maybe he could put gravel down on it.
I need gravel work to get put down to those go easy anyway.
Let's withdraw that.
Because the all-in's gonna pass, so that.
Yeah, let's have to ask. That's many police.
All right, so withdraw.
Number 13 is dead.
Sure.
Mark,
Your grandfather, so it would.
No.
Barb,
I just want to reiterate what Tom said, that the rules is because it's not being enforced. Allowing people to park on empty lots. You'll find boats, trailers, all kinds of stuff there. It's there now. But just because it's not being enforced doesn't mean to change it, so, okay.
But isn't part of it that we've got this disconnect? There's nothing that stops you from having a driveway. Ted already said you'd have to grandfather in who has them. You can't take it away because they already got it. But you can't park anything on it. So, you know, I mean, I know that there was a boathouse on West Vista last year. They had a big half circle drive put in, drainage underneath the drive. That wasn't the construction grade drive that they put in. Now half of it's covered up, so it's not a full circle anymore, but you know, why is it still there at all? Because you can't park on it. So when they come down to use their boat slip in their boathouse, where are they gonna park? In the street? You know, and we don't have wide enough streets for parking and all that, so I'm like, there's a disconnect, and whatever it's worded, however it's worded, how do you close the disconnect?
I think there's a difference between driving down for the day to your your lake
Yeah.
lot and then leaving your car or your
Right.
boat, your trailer there for months on end.
Yeah.
And like when you was out on the small lake, you saw all those trailers, I mean, I'm sure you submitted a complaint on each one of them, is that right? There you go, you could have done that, that's it. I thought it.
Got goals, we're good.
Okay.
All right, I just wanna let everybody know, when there's more than one person talking, nobody online can ever hear you. I don't know how the recording does, but at that town hall, it was tough. All right, number 14, Lisa Brocksmith, section 3F. Assessments, add to cover.
You just had, about assessment, but I think it was basically about the 1%, and that's not gonna, so I don't think we need it, right, Lisa, or?
Well, it depends, if someone comes back going rogue on us again, and wants to put a fee based upon a value of the house. Or special assessments, then we're gonna be back in the same.
And in the state of Missouri, you can't do that.
Can't do it. It's law in Missouri, you can't do it, so.
But nothing based on value.
Yeah.
A fee based on a individual fee cannot be assessed.
Well, if someone said we wanna do a special assessment. Based upon the value, not the 1% of selling it, based upon a special assessment on the value of it. Or
If it's done for everybody, then it's fair.
it's different than when the 1% was based upon selling your home. That the buyer or seller was gonna do it. This would be an assessment that is passed. And we would get a special assessment on your home. Based upon the value or the assessed value of your home.
Are you talking about,
Annually?
is it every home and every lot? That's my question.
Correct, because if a lot has a special assessment or has a account tax on it, so it tells you kind of like what the value is, and that's what your taxes are on for your yearly taxes that you pay in December. Whether
So
it's a house or if it's a lot.
according to Ted, how he explained it to me was that if you do that, it has to be assessed to everybody every year if it's based on value.
Correct. And I'm sure he's right, or he's an attorney. But we just didn't want someone to come back again and try to make an assessment. In our community, as realtors, the group of the realtors, that we all came together, we just wanted to smash that so that doesn't come back up again. In a different way than when you sell your house. The way it was proposed was the 1% would happen when someone exits your community. That 1% would be paid back to Braintree. And this would be something that would be done if the idea was presented to the board and the board passed it, that a special assessment or something that was made upon the value of your home. Kind of a different, because it's, you're in here and you're getting paid, you're getting the fee versus when you're selling, they're collecting the fee. I don't know if that's.
I mean, the sell piece can't happen. It's against
Right.
Missouri law.
We
But-
agree as realtors.
But we could, and a board down the road could propose, just like you pay your taxes on county assessed value. There's some percentage against your county assessed value. And that's what your assessment is. That's not against the law.
So this would prevent that from happening.
I don't think you wanna do that though.
I wouldn't support that. I mean.
I wouldn't want
we don't-
anything that's based on now.
Your taxes are based on value of your home.
Correct, in order to
So-
get taxed.
So, I mean, I think the block, well, one, I don't even know that we need a covenant to block what's not legal. That's why these go through legal.
If Jay's idea passes, this would,
Be moved.
you wouldn't even need it.
Right.
It's just if somebody wanted to go rogue against the values of our community, we as realtors are trying to protect all the homeowners here from that happening.
But wouldn't that take a ballot item in the group of the community in order to do that? If we said, okay, we're gonna make a special assessment.
We're trying to prevent it from happening.
So this wording in here is a little confusing. It says home or lot. No fee, assessment, or special assessment can be made on any improved or unimproved lot. So not on a home, just a lot?
A lot improved,
Improved is a home.
or unimproved lot.
So improved would be a homeowner.
Is a,
Not necessarily. Well,
just say improved, if it hasn't improved, we're just saying on any lot regardless of
Absent
status.
absent a covenant change. A improved lot is a home, only a home, doesn't mean a driveway, doesn't mean a boat slip, a seawall. Any of that, boathouse, any of that stuff, it's a home.
so let me finish this. On any lot based on value, sale price, appraised value, county assessed value, or cost of improvements, which the cost of improvements might come in play with ACC with a seawall being charged an assessment for
Right.
a seawall, a retaining wall, a driveway.
We need to talk about that, and my thought on that was, those are fixed fees. Those are not based on value, a seawall is X amount, is that correct?
Yeah, you post a bond.
Right,
Is this, could this be, do you know if this is being done somewhere?
no, we're
I
just.
mean, there was
trying-
a proposal for it one time which got shot down. But is this actually happening?
This is in response to the 1% thing
Yeah.
coming up, which isn't happening, I agree.
But they want to
But
protect it
again,
for
we
the
wanna-
future.
we don't want.
So you just can't assess based on $1 million house gets assessed more than the $5,000 lot.
We have to have faith that, yeah.
So basically, the way I'm hearing it is that you don't want somebody's assessment to be based on a value. So in other words, if we're gonna have a road assessment, it's gonna be $255 a house, a lot, if it's a lot, if it's a house, if you have $1 million house, or if you've got.
I think
just a regular lot.
don't our voting rights protect this as well?
Well, I have no idea, but that's what they're talking about.
Really
Different, but.
But we just don't want anything that's based on this person pays more than this person simply because their house is more. If you're putting in 1,000 square foot of seawall in this $1 million house, or 1,000 square foot of seawall in this $200,000 house, which I know we don't have, but why should that person pay different?
I would say that in 40+ years, we've never had to worry about that. At the same time, any construction project going through Jefferson County, the permit is based on value.
That's, they're collecting that and they're legally able to do that.
And I agree, but I'm just saying, everything in our rules based on ACC project goes based off of county regulations. I don't think you gotta worry about this, but if we feel we need to add it,
I think you'd be handcuffed.
I would be more willing.
I mean, I would be okay with anything, all of them, other than not the county assessed value. Because it's a independent value of the property, and I agree with Kent. I mean, we can't handcuff, that's the reason we review these, is not only for its legal validity, we look for conflicts, but we also look for things that would unduly handcuff the boards going forward. And I mean, I think, you know, not that we're at it, not that we're proposing it, but a county assessed value-based assessment, you know, is not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, it still even if it's available, it still has to be voted to the ballot by the board, still has to be passed by the community. So, I mean, I'm fine with
Yeah, I think we
all of
just
them.
have to operate in good faith that this would
Right.
not happen. I mean, I get your point, and I think it's well made, but I've never heard of it being happening anywhere, and so we just have to.
And you know, we're being
Yeah.
proactive because
Sure.
we've never heard of that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to put this on the ballot, striking county assessed value out of it.
Can I ask that it be run again, because I don't think the wording was correct, because it sounds like if you all ever at any point try to put on any additional amount, it's gonna,
Right.
that,
It
that's
says-
what I.
It says home or lot, this would be an add to this covenant. Does not strike in anything else. No fee, assessment, or special assessment can be made on any improved, AKA house or unimproved lot. Based on value, sale price, appraised value, county assessed value, or cost of improvements.
So the fact of the assessment all-in thing, isn't that based off of value that
That's what I was.
home is?
But
The value of a home versus.
But every home is the same in every lot.
But not, it's not.
I don't think you need them.
All right, well, I put out there.
Is there a second?
Well, I'm gonna motion it again, that it goes on, striking value first. And county assessed value, so it would eliminate sale price, appraised value, or cost of improvements.
Where would it get put in the,
It goes under, 3F assessment.
it's where?
Just add. It'd be added to the bottom.
Well, again, that's what the other one is doing, 3F.
I mean, it would be.
Now,
it would be,
that's violating her motion earlier.
Um,
No additional ballot items for assessments.
that's not in what you read and proposed. There's not no additional ones, we just are choosing to pull the additional ones out.
Well, what if this passes? Where are you gonna put it?
It goes under 3F, but it still needs to be a ballot item in and of itself. If you want to put it in play, and it has to be presented to vote on.
Well, we have to,
So
the board has to.
Hang on a
put
minute.
it in.
If the all-in passes in 3F, people are voting on that to read the way it is. Now you're saying they can pass another ballot to add more verbiage to that?
because you already got another one in here.
And her motion was wasn't to not allow Denny's, it was to not allow any of it.
Let's see if it gets a second.
Okay, yeah, so I just put the motion out there, so now it's up for a second.
Is there a second?
Okay,
Motion declined. All right.
we got one more to go through. All right. Ballot item 7,
You told me to skip that.
that was before we got all the way through this. Ballot item 7 is the partially assessed improved lots.
Well, although I kind of liked it, but her motion kind of trumps this.
Okay, and her motion was to remove.
No, it was not. It was to not allow any other.
No, that's it was to remove Denny's.
What was your wording on your ballot?
I don't know.
Or did you-
Then,
I
do
could've
you,
sworn-
when did you do that?
To remove that.
I thought.
I'm not there.
Only had one
One
ballot.
option.
One ballot. item.
Yeah, one assessment option.
That was, the motion was remove Denny's ballot item.
But we all agree.
Well, okay.
We all agree, so we need to put a motion.
5 approved, 2 opposed.
Okay, remove what?
Number 6.
Remove just Denny's. Yeah. It was just.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion to
Um,
remove.
I think.
can,
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
do what?
make a motion to remove number 7, to stay inconsistent that there's one assessment.
I'll second that.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, back to the regular meeting.
so 7 is gone.
Got one other. Is everybody okay with ballot item 8? Does affect 3F, but it's changing the late from 1% to 2%. Because that is part of 3F.
Why don't we merge that into,
I was gonna say,
Merge it.
yeah,
Merge
this is one assessment.
into all
Don't move.
inclusive.
I mean,
so that's pending attorney review. You want to modify your motion?
Okay.
I'm not gonna motion to remove it, but if you're all in doesn't pass. Then we're still stuck at 1% late fee, which is ridiculously low with today's world.
That's probably true. It's not like an alternate choice.
It's for like,
It's-
okay,
So that's it.
Okay.
Alright.
all right, that's a ten.
It's six. All
All
right,
right.
we're done.
Okay.
Alright,
That's not gonna-
insurance renewal.
Oh, God, you got all of it.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, that's valid.
Agenda. All right, we got the insurance renewal, that came in.
Y'all ought to listen to this real carefully.
All right, the renewal for the insurance came in, it's a 7% increase, for contractors saying that it's well below the average that they're seeing for similar accounts to ours. They're coming in excess of 20%. We're at 7%. The total premium for our fidelity insurance, director officer, workers' comp, auto, property, marine, general liability, business, automobile, and umbrella is a total of $39,125 for the email that we got from County Insurance Agency. So our insurance expires this is due on April 24th. So, even though it's a new business, we need to improve it, our insurance is gonna lapse.
I will make a motion to approve the insurance renewal. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion?
What was it last year?
7% plus.
$1,000.
Numbers.
2,500.
2,500.
I can just tell you, I just got a renewal for United Healthcare from last year for my company, 84% increase.
Oh.
500 is insurance.
Yeah.
What? Pay 36,400. 7% jump,
Nathan, they were seeing how much of a percent jump?
20% in other like community, other like accounts like us.
Who says that?
Pardon me?
Who said 20%?
Insurance agent or broker.
The same broker that's saying seven.
Seven's great.
Come on.
I just told you my numbers.
I know, but look, I understand insurance has gone up and gone crazy. I went and I did a little searching myself, my personal, and saved about 20%.
Do you know, did he shop that policy?
He shops our stuff each year. And
We have been with this company for as long as I've been here, and don't correct me if I'm wrong, but due to the type of subdivision we have, it is hard to place this policy elsewhere. And I don't know that we've ever had any issues with him, and they've stepped up to the plate every time we've needed them for anything.
And he's a special, this broker is a specialist in community insurance and risk management. So we specialize in exactly what we, the kind of community we are.
Any other discussion? All in favor of $39,000, 7% increase, signify with an aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Can we be not in favor of improvement?
All right.
Well, the choice is-
Your motion, security, technology, motion.
And just remotion,
Yeah.
I motion to purchase those two gate arm control towers along with the new gate arm for all gates with soft LED strips. The most affordable bid was from Automatic Gate and Door, 3,930 each. Tower with the with new gate arms, and then the 4 additional gates with LEDs were a total of 1,333. So all in $9,195.
I will second that. Any discussion?
Excuse me. I'm sorry, but when he talked about the gates earlier, he said the arms are exactly the same. Well, same. Why would we get?
Oh, the arm attachment is the same,
They're LED.
but these are not gonna be the golden noodle, it's gonna be red LED when it's down, green LED when it's up.
Okay, you said the same.
Yeah, I did, it's the same fit, same attach.
So you bump it once.
That was when I asked about them being able to be knocked off, that's why.
Any other discussion?
I got a couple of questions. Is this coming out of the security special?
Is there anything in the budget left?
Well,
There should be.
we have,
About half of that.
what we did with the budget was we left it open chunk of money to deal with the lakes, deal with what was termed an improvement to security. And, I mean, we're going after some of the things that we can afford to do.
Okay, so back to the question. What's left in the security budget, anything?
Well, you got $30,000.
No, outside of that,
That's not in the budget for security.
so then
So we would have to.
amend your motion to bring that money from the special assessment of 3 years ago.
Okay, I amend my motion to bring, to
Does
pay the funds from the special assessment.
Hang on a second.
Yes,
Does anybody remember, does that special assessment have to be done for an improvement, or can it just be done to replace?
Just for security, there was no designation of what it was for.
Okay,
$50 per lot. I will second that. Any other discussion? Coming out of the security special assessment budget. All in favor signify with an eye. All opposed. Treasurer's report and presentation of
I
bills.
do have a question.
Yeah, you're over here ready to slice my neck off.
Because we said over and over again, open for every question, every ballot item, so. Are you coming forth with any true security improvement stuff? Because if not, I'm not gonna hold the money. And we're gonna release it to do other stuff,
We can't, so.
I was gonna say, I don't think you can.
not the special assessment, but we went into this budget with about. 170,000, I think, that we left unallocated. It was for improving security. You know, not roads, it was for lakes and beaches. It was for any other thing that we weren't getting to.
Well, that's kind of what I just asked, and you said there was nothing in there.
It's not budgeted because we don't have any.
But if it's
We have-
usable,
Let's
let's just use this special assessment and leave it alone.
But, I mean, he's got other stuff he wants to do with lakes and beaches. You talked about, even though we don't have enough hang tag money yet, let's just fund the.
well, then the committee's
So-
suggestion is
So
to
should we keep some in reserve here for you, let it go?
let it go.
It's not this year.
It's not happening this year. We're gonna stick with the gate cards. We suggest to do a purge validate of all the old gate cards. And really not fix what's not broken.
And you still got money left in the special assessment.
right.
so
Yeah. Okay.
Put the rent station in there.
You're gonna make a motion to do it?
Well, nobody
No,
is.
no,
You don't want to do one?
Yeah, but we don't know what are we approving. The only bid we have is over a year old, and we have some other ideas. We just want to send out a survey.
Okay.
There's a bunch to happen on rent.
Okay.
Just FYI, through hang tags or whatever you pluck, you're gonna have the money this year. Okay.
All right, finance report, cash assets, we have, primary checking, $220,800. The excess, reserve checking, $326,575. Let me clarify excess, it's not excess, we just have, part of the checking is not daily use money, it's invested, so it automatically transfers back in. We had 30,472 minus this 9195 for the special security assessment. There's 17,770 in the lake dredging fund. We do have a reserve account, 105,709, the ICF is at 291,196.
What's in the special, or the dredging fund?
17,770.
That's why we won't have to do that anymore if the all-in passes. And we recoup that 17,000 towards the
You can spend it
dredging.
somewhere else. Yeah.
Well, no, it's gotta be for dredging.
His eyeballs are rolling like a slot machine. All right,
He's wanting this rinse station like that Taj Mahal or something.
All right, we've got, the month of March, we collected $5,566 in assessment related payments. And city, their fee was $69.01. We paid $1,499 worth of bills through the city in March. We also had the liens filed, of delinquent all delinquent properties, that was $7,722. There's now $37,742 in the escrow account. We transferred $65,000 to the POA account. As of the end of March, there were 261 delinquent owners totaling $247,239 on it, and I think I already gave remember updates in the town hall meeting, so we're good on that. The monthly check report is two-sided now.
Oh, I was gonna brag and say it's the first time we've seen one page.
Two-sided though, so there's really nothing out of the ordinary at all on any of the bills to talk about.
Oh, yes, there is. I wanna know why we got two chargebacks. Did we take care of those? That's all I wanna know.
Box checks.
Right, that's why. Did we do something about it?
I mean, you rebuild them, right, with the bounce check, you rebuild them with the add-on
Okay.
fees. On the second page, there are two of these payments are for $200 each, or the ACC inspector fee. We got the rubber consultant fee, the escrow transfer, the liens, and the city collection fee. Any questions on any of the bills?
Well, but I do like this format.
Easier to read.
Yeah. Communications.
Okay, I'm gonna make it real quick because we did a lot. The mock election went well and talked about that. With my MailChimp and stuff like that, one of the biggest items, I mean, we average about 40 to 50% of the people open up. When we did the things about stickers and the availability of being able to fill them out online, we had over 70% of the people open and click on that. So that tells me that there's an interest there. Let's see, the mock election, I talked about it. Garage sale, just so you know, Saturday, May 4th. Residents of Braintree have a pre-sale on Friday, May 3rd from 4 to 7. Julie Schaefer is the one in charge, and she still needs about 6 volunteers. So if you're interested in helping, oh, you're good. Oh, okay. Oh, we're good. Okay, good. Okay, all right, so we're good. Okay, good, good. And then the town hall meeting, I just want to say that we had approximately 50 property owners. John did a demo on how to use Rever to fill out the sticker information from the comfort of your home. You can use your computer and or phone. There was somebody who filled out their forms right there during the meetings, and there's quite a bit of excitement about the possibility of being able to purchase them online also. And I just want to say a special thanks to the Realtors Committee. It was Kim Seaball, Lisa Brocksmith, Diana Martin, Chris Martin, Becky Maxwell, Sherry Williams, and Don Arlington. Just appreciate the information that you gave out to homeowners. They were excited to see that comparison. So that's that. Now I'll go ahead and do administration real quick. They've sold approximately 132 auto stickers, 120 boat stickers, 72 golf carts, 72 hang tags, 8 jet ski stickers, 2 non-motorized stickers, 37 online purchased at this, going online and coming in and picking up their stickers. And then there was a total of 369 not on. They've been scanning property owners into Rever, assisting board members as needed, and started taking reservations for the campgrounds and the pavilion.
Who did this?
The
report.
Wendy.
I like this new format. It gives us, it actually gives us numbers around things.
Yeah.
All right, standing committee reports, real quick admin, our legal, just a couple things with the ballot items and that 1% deal we had to reach out to them for. And I think that is about it, some clarification on some items. That was about it, to be minimal. Financial report we already went over, lakes and beaches, anything to update?
Just a few things, I mean, the Cleveland assessment was done and we're waiting for the formal report. This was made just a couple of days after that.
When are we supposed to, when do we expect a report back?
I hope to have it by the end of last week or this week. That's what they kind of told me. We haven't done anything about harvesting fish only because, you know, we have the data that from all the fishing tournaments. We also have the Missouri Department of Conservation coming out and electroshocking the lake. So I don't want to make a change in the rules, if you will, and then have to turn around and say, oh, wait, we need to change this again. I'd rather get data supported by, which is Ridge. We talked about the Ridge Station in length. You know, we made a survey we're going to send out. As soon as I did it, the survey will happen, but you know, we want to use county water and pay for fresh water when we have the lake right there and we can get lake. I mean, the whole purpose of the thing is to rinse your, to stand off you. It's not take a shower. You can't use detergents or anything like that. And so we could even use a hand pump instead of an electric pump. I mean, there's a lot of things we can do. It doesn't make it vandal proof, but it's probably less likely to tear it up. And we can use that money to make some better other improvements at the beach. And so we'll be sending out a survey. We're looking at food service vendors and we're gonna have them, of course, go through the event oversight committee. The grass carp were delivered yesterday, 2 per surface acre. And then Denny, thank you. I had to get a hold of the stormwater division and they actually have a demonstration, a PowerPoint demonstration that they'll come and give about reducing runoff into your lakes and et cetera. And they have many, many options, different contractors. Some are very expensive, some are not very expensive. I'm hoping, I haven't heard back from them, but I'm hoping to have them at our May 6th meeting at 6 o'clock here, our Lakes and Beaches May meeting. And I'd like to have, if he can come and give the PowerPoint, I don't have a lot of people doing it to show it. So we, some options there. And then of course, the other thing is about the security golf cart. You want to talk about that now? Not really.
Why is it going to the events committee?
Gotta check.
Because they're on QOA.
I can check, right?
It's after 9, it's after 10.
Hey, we gotta kill this. That's why it wants.
No, the security person just asked if maybe the golf cart could, the security cart could go to their house instead of having to drive up here each time they use it and go back. They understand that it's used once a week or something to change the bulletin boards. And they
It's used, maybe less than once a week, but it is used to do that.
so I don't know if we want that on somebody else's property or if we want it on our own property. She, no, well, I think she does, but it does rain tree security and whatnot on it, so I don't know, she asked me. I don't.
If something happens to it on their property, then it's their responsibility.
We're gonna take responsibility for that, I mean, I don't see.
And to and from.
Well, and then what if
Well, but
they
she
need
leave
it
from her house
they-
and goes straight to the, wherever she's doing security.
She doesn't do it every day, I don't think during the week, that's mostly just like doing 10 hours.
24
What if she just took it on the weekend? And it's still here? I mean, that's when she would use it, right?
I feel like that'd be more ideal.
Yeah, just have her use it on the weekend.
I mean,
She
she
could
goes
keep
back
it.
to her.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do they keep it now? In the garage?
Garage.
So would somebody be able to open it up and get it back in there?
Is Tom here? Oh, Tom.
I don't know, Mindy, how do you get it to her now? Does she don't have.
Tom.
Hey, Tom,
You're gonna give it to her.
hey, Tom, how does, Sherry get the security golf?
She never had, as far as I'm,
Probably far driving it last.
well, I don't know, you might have, I don't.
Oh, maybe that's what
she
she
always
does.
uses hers.
Maybe instead of using hers, she wants to use that one all the time and just keep it at her house. How much do you guys use it for anything, Tom?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
That pretty much answers.
yeah, that, answered that, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
All right, maintenance department. That Steve,
Yeah,
You know.
preparing the campgrounds, pavilion, bathhouse, and beach area for summer traffic, completed the crack filling project on Autumn Lake per DNR requirements. Porta potties are installed, cleaned up washops from heavy rains and removed trees down on roads from high winds. We have started transitioning over to spring grass cutting when weather and workload permit. And we're gonna fix that big crack at the front of the subdivision as soon as Dave fills out a complaint. Is there anything we can do with that, asphalt or anything?
Well, it's concrete first of all.
Yeah,
You know, I was looking at that Friday, we have to. We did a whole bunch of others down Common Plantation. And then, that one is just gonna take, closing that side down.
yeah, I
And
figured
redirecting
that.
traffic. So it's more than even the 3-man maintenance group.
Yeah.
You know, as far as directing traffic.
Tom, are you talking about concrete out here on Column?
Yeah,
No, I mean, yeah, we can throw asphalt in it, it hangs in there a little while.
If you put concrete down, does it have to sit for a week?
they got quick dry.
No, I mean, concrete, contractors can use a pretty quick curing.
Okay.
Can be done overnight.
Not overnight, I think a couple of days, but then again, with all the heavy trucks coming through here, they may not recommend that even.
I'll see how you can close the road down.
Cut through the parking lot. Well, you just would open up the exit gate for them.
I'd say somebody of those concrete would be.
They poured it at one time. Somebody's repaired it.
Probably. Yeah, that's a good question.
And they go around by the security guard gate and go.
Well, and that's not the dump truck and whatnot. I mean, you could use Forest Drive temporarily for construction.
You have to leave the gate open all night,
I think we do that already.
sometimes.
That's a thought. I got a few dentures laying out there.
There you go.
Roads report.
The only thing to update is Denny's waiting on some quotes and bids to do a couple repairs. Tom's guys, as he mentioned, that out there filling up potholes were allowed, but you know, as we talked earlier, I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail. We want the roads fixed. We need millions of dollars on it to fix them. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep on dumping asphalt into potholes.
John, we received one bid so far, we've got 2 more coming in.
Okay.
Oh, good.
For
Road, so a little bit of road work. Mostly on the.
Okay, no, I'm just wondering.
I think what we're looking at was, Denny, or do we know with, is DNR, we gonna pass DNR with what Tom's guys did so far, or we still need to see?
Still need to see it.
All right, so there's a bid on that to get the dam certified. There's a collapsed culvert pipe that's causing property damage on Duffer. It's part of Elm Street and something on Forest Drive. We got it, and maybe we should go ahead and, because Glenn's not gonna spend any money on security, we should get the quote out and put this out here. Thanks, Glenn, for
You're welcome.
phoning up your money.
Well, you could maybe work something out with the exit lane.
Get with Tom. too.
I don't know if they gotta go down, they have to go all the way around the subdivision if they're going down by the clubhouse. I think Forest Drive would be your best bet.
Yeah.
We can try to figure it out.
All right.
Maybe a couple of days, like Tom said.
Yeah, so we add that one to the bid list then.
I will.
Okay.
Rules.
There were 10 complaints in the last month, 2 eyesores, 1 prefabricated shed, 3 boat trailers and undeveloped lots. 2 unlicensed vehicles parked in the yard. That was nice. And 2 houses with unlicensed vehicles in the driveway.
So if you're gonna park in a yard, make sure they're licensed, is that what you're saying?
It would definitely.
Is there any other committees that need to?
Can I ask a question on that? Can you share, do we get centers from any of those?
Earn any money.
I could not tell you that.
Well, that's really not a way to earn it, but if we get it, we get it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have to kill you,
What's the potential censure amount that we could collect?
I wouldn't want to put a budget on it.
depends if it's the first, second,
In
or third,
the rules manual, there is a dollar amount associated with violation.
based on how many attempts, like if it's the second one or the third one, so they're different amounts,
So
like
it could be warnings for $25.
there's 10 of them, I'd say potential amount is
For the
$2,000.
most part, they get taken care of. Sometimes there are conversations that are needed that no payments needed. These are just complaints that come in. This isn't necessarily censures that are going out.
Okay, and the reason I bring it up is that the town hall meeting, one of the brainstorming ideas was, I think it's brainstorming idea. There's inconsistency on that process and who gets, when people get censured and when others don't somehow.
Who's making the decision on if they get censured or not? Because according to the rules manual, it's supposed to be the rules committee, not just the rules committee chairperson.
So it was brought up as a process improvement when we were brainstorming ways to bring more money into the community by saving it or bringing it in, one or the other. And somehow someone said censures seemed to be something, and then somebody else added to that and said it would be nice to report on those so that other people would see that we take that seriously. Right?
It is posted in the finance reports.
It was suggested that it might be in our roundup, so that people see that. You know, not following the rules has consequences.
You mean if there were this many censures, but not, you don't want names and dollars.
No, you can't do that.
You're just paying.
20, blah, 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 resulted in $2,000 in censures, so that people see, oh, I should stop doing what I'm not supposed to do.
So should we just say there were 10 complaints came in, we got $500,000 from it?
Yeah.
That'll send a warning.
Fluctuations, you know.
That's why we maybe match month to month. It's just
potential.
Yeah, we're not.
If you put something that said there were 10 censures and totally they could add up to, there's potential for $2,000.
How about we do it one step further? If there is a censure sent out, we report on what we actually collect.
Yes.
Correct, that's it.
You could do
That's
that.
it, yeah.
The only issue I have with that is that if people also see that we're trying to collect money and using censures as that form, that's gonna start making people think that the board again is just trying to go after people and
But
make.
you're trying to change behaviors, not make money, right? Because this is about.
Yeah, it's not an assessment or any process.
Sorry if I posed it that way.
We sent 2 censures out and they paid it, but their checks bounced.
Shutting down
So-
is, so it was how.
You just want to see that censures are being collected,
Issued.
being put in,
Issued and collected.
issued and collected.
That's true.
This goes back to the ACC and the rules that, you know, if somebody's got a driveway and they shouldn't, so what? Are we doing anything about it?
So it shows that we're enforcing the rules.
Right.
Right.
So
And there are
basically,
consequences to your behavior.
on her report, she's got what happened, what the complaints were. If she just added, we had 5 censors that totaled this amount. That's all you. I mean,
I could do a total of, like if there is. like say I sent this out for somebody for $100. So, and then 2 more, I mean, you want that.
No, I think it'd be better if we collected this much censures this month.
Yeah.
We don't need to know how they actually.
Or you could do it year to date.
That's on financials. We collected $1,890 in censures from March.
But the
Yes.
point is, it should be highlighted, not highlighted, but in the range that the people do read versus reading this. Of that this month.
Okay, so Tilly, can you grab that out of there?
So Desiree just have to get me that.
No, you can just get it right off the report.
Yeah. But I don't know the other.
Line item is
60 censure assessment.
40, 60.
40.
We reviewed it.
GL.
Okay,
That's the GL. number.
okay. Oh, that's GL.
$1,890.
Anything else under committee reports?
Okay, so-
All in favor of adjournment? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify with an eye. Meeting adjourned. Yes, sir.
Well, I guess you probably all noticed the yellow pipe sticking up on the dam, and they've all got holes in them. When we put that in there, we tried to get a deal on some cable to run through all those holes. And, there was something going on at the time where nothing was available. But, either 1/2 inch or 5 inch cable, was intended to go in there to help, the security of people running off of the dam. If anybody has any idea where we can come up with a deal on cable, that would sure be helpful.
Like a lifeline thing, so that if you can't go between 2 posts and go down the hill or into the water.
Exactly.
They call those lifelines in the middle of the highway.
That's what we thought to do with it. If we can get a deal on some cable. A lot of times a crane operator will change the cable on a crane
Every 6 months.
and they, sold the scrap.
You know,
Are the pipes still in good shape?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know a guy that's that's how he makes his living selling that stuff. And they do replace it, those big cranes, they replace it constantly now. That's a bigger cable, but I'm sure, let me call him and ask
We
him. if he
probably
knows where we
call
can
Frank
find.
Sophie with his son owns the recycling place.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll check into that, Tom.
I don't know what the number of feet it is, but we'll all across the dam.
I think it was 300, wasn't it? We'll check into it. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to see, did you get a Becky Maxwell in my architectural complete request for our driveway?
I'm sure I did. We meet here in 2 weeks, so it'll be on the
Okay,
agenda.
we didn't get an acknowledgement, I sent it on April 1st, so.
We met April 2nd, so our next meeting would be beginning of May.
So if you could just reply, got it.
Okay, well,
Because I didn't know-
I didn't get it because again, we get it.
It'll be hitting them first. That should feed right to your email.
Check and see, because then I sent a follow-up and then another follow-up, but I didn't get any replies, which is why I'm asking.
But, okay, everything was maybe brought up here. And, yeah,
You could go to the office.
yeah, I mean, it's,
You have a proposal for it.
I do, in my email, I said, do you need me to submit this in a hard copy? I mean, I just didn't even get it.
okay, well, I'm not. So, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to clarify it. You guys are all unpaid volunteers, right?
No. We're like 6-figure employees.
We lose a layer of time regularly.
That goes into the meeting and all the work you do in between, and it's pretty impressive, so I want to thank you as a member of the community.
Likewise, we appreciate people coming to the meeting, coming up with ideas and whatnot, that helps, and if. I think if you talk to the realtors, they said that, you know, we get bashed constantly, not we, but the Raintree community gets bashed constantly. And I don't think we should engage them, but try to put something out there that says, wow, what a great community this is and stuff. And the realtors are telling us it's hard to get people to even look in here because they see this stuff. And rather than engage them, let's try to counter it by saying what a wonderful place this is.
Right?
For your consideration. I really like the services provided by City Village. I really appreciate everything you guys are doing with Scantron and River and all that to bring Braintree up into the 1990s. These have been great, important steps, I think. It's time for a bigger, more serious step, and that is to look at a community management company. You know, I think City Village kind of does that, but I think we need something with bigger scope. As we just heard, you guys do so much, it takes so much time, so much skill, so much effort. I can't imagine being on the board and doing most of that. It seems like, you know, Braintree is a small business. You need a properly run professional management company to run the business and take most of that work off you guys. You can run the subdivision and deal with the day-to-day stuff that needs to be done.
15 years ago. Did we have paid somebody to manage the office?
That was before my time.
I think there are companies who manage the grounds, the office, the finances, everything.
Okay.
And
So they would come in and just, what would we do? Just sit pretty?
They would, you know, they should have that land, so they take their bylaws or rules and they run the place.
They would still
according
need,
to that.
they would still need committees to serve, you know. Just be one or two.
But they would take,
Run the place and then they bring in their.
they would take the business.
If I can add to that, because I have a concern about, I'll call it continuity,
Right.
that's the only thing I can think of. Is continuity because there are so many board members in and out, you know, we lost Steve just now, right? We lost Nick December, we lost Tim and Keith, March, April, May. Interim people who then we came in and out. I'm like, how do you guys keep track of who's doing what? How do you, like, one past person, you know, hand it to the next guy?
Right.
And it seems like the guys are starting all over again, and it seems like our progress is so slow. That it just seems like we're losing people on the board. You guys are awesome, but I can understand why you're losing people, because it's too much. It's too much to do what you all do and run any other business. It's too much. I think in Nick's case, maybe it's he's got a family that he was losing time out with. You all are losing time, I'm sure, with all the board stuff and then the committees that you run. And then the committees chairs change. As soon as someone leaves, well, now who's gonna chair that committee? Yeah, everything just seems like it's all over again.
I think it's a real challenge.
I have to believe it.
And I think every one of us, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think every one of us had intentions of making Braintree better.
Sure.
And that's our goal, but it's very hard to do with turnover and people, and people realize, like, I thought, what am I doing here? I did this to help our community grow and to give a positive imprint on the community, and it's just very hard, and you do as a board member, you lose your fight for it.
And not have your name put through the mud.
Right.
I mean, if my husband or spouse was on there and some of the things people have said about you guys, it would be horrible, horrible.
I mean, Tilly's resigned 12 times already since she's done. I gotta hand it to these guys. I mean, the committees is where the work's done. Kent's doing a great job. Desiree's doing great in rules. Denny's taking care of the roads.
I'm saying that the turnover was a good word. It has got to be horrendous when some people are on this for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, but they can't even make it.
Well, the only reason we have staggered, we really should get it to where people make a commitment to being on the board for 3 years, and if somebody dies or for whatever reason they're removed.
They still gotta stay on the board.
No, the person who takes their place has to fill out their term, not just the 3 months or
That's
6
a
months.
covenant change or bylaw change.
But I mean, those are, right, we need to have some continuity to get.
I think the job easier so that you all can enjoy your lives here at Braintree, you know, and not wonder.
Property management company would do just that.
Okay, well, that's an idea.
We're at a key point right now. Tom's retiring in September, so. You know, he's got 2 guys working for him. This could be,
Your resignation got approved. You can go ahead.
it might be a good time to try to transition it. We could look into that. If you have anybody in mind, let us know. Yeah, Tom.
2012, there was a, what was the title? One guy that hired, a general manager. That's right. Instead of an entire company. Okay. There was a general manager and, you know, you're not gonna get, without changing, a major change in the bylaws, you're not gonna get rid of the board. But,
No,
but,
get rid of the board.
but he was directed by the board and then he directed the office and maintenance. One guy, not a company.
And did the
And
ground.
you're applying for that position?
There are people who take. Just like.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get into a conversation about another outsourced company, you know, I mean. One guy.
We get hired.
But the downside of that, I guess, was when he was let go, it was basically because of policy.
Well, the nice thing about that is it removes us from being the bad guy for anybody out in sub.
So he always said,
Right.
between the board
Right.
and the residents and the board and the employees.
Take the politics out.
Yep. Hey, I don't know if you were here in the beginning or not, but I did announce your retirement and I want everybody to give Tom. If he fixes a hole at the front gate. Dave.
I understand that the board does a lot of work, but I think there's a lot of things that the office does and the maintenance does that really help the board function. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to function with anything. You have to go to somebody in the office to get certain information. You can't just get it on your own. So the board will be successful without paid employees.
Oh, there's no doubt. One of the things that. Right.
These gals in here do a great job and they make you feel welcome. I did again, I do this crap on Facebook. I don't know, I don't have to interact with the community, but all I see is a couple of really standouts. And they're just doing nothing but rail. And I don't want some person to be like, looked at Facebook groups, you know, before I move into a place or whatnot, but if that's truly affecting what's going on here, then I don't know, we may want to look at like just closing that Facebook community, like just close it off, because it's nothing.
Like a drug dealer, you get 1 in 10 pop up. That's not our Facebook.
Then we should have, you know, positivity, like this is the Ranger positive community Facebook page. I don't know, but it's sad to me.
You're the wife of a board member, be quiet.
No.
Both of them are.
Good luck.
Both of them are.
Human next month. I will say one thing that I think, Laura, you might have brought it up about changing the name of our Facebook page. I think that's something we probably should look into. Whoever owns
Even
it.
if it's just something as simple as official Rain Tree Plantation page.
Right.
I honestly didn't know until yesterday that the one I was going on was not. And then I was like, whoa.
That's been
I
like 3
suggested
names since it started. Golf cards, the bad golf cards, or what was it?
So change the name.
Yes. I'm calling on you.
Like, so many people on that page. I'm like, I don't even go on that page anymore because I know who all these people are. I don't know who you get.
That's not an official, anything to do with Rain Tree again.
What you can do is try to tell all your neighbors and friends, don't pay any attention to that.
I started to go through that list to get rid of all the people that had left and whatnot, and I missed 2 board meetings.
I was gonna say, I know we need spare time, right?
It is a nightmare because you really gotta. There's so many hooks into that next door that, oh yeah, I own a lot, or I own a piece of grass on the green, or, I mean, it's just a nightmare to try to determine. The thing is Barb does most of the approvals. I don't have the time that much for it anymore. But when I was doing it, I would get on the county records and make sure they at least had their name on a piece of property here, because that's next door's rules. But man, that takes time. I mean,
Yeah.
one person, you're 5 or 10 minutes out of your day, and
Yeah,
Linda,
I recognize 95% of the people that live here are great people. It's just a few people, so let's
see you, Tom.
let's try to put more positive stuff out there.
New topic. Last February, I think we did that town hall where we helped people write ballot items. So that discussion was a lot about, you know, the covenants and the bylaws and all of that. And it was decided then, as well as we can see, that our covenants and bylaws, they need to be cleaned up. They need to be, you know, rewritten, in my opinion, in plain English, and I always call it, you know, that a fifth grader can understand. And so I'm wondering, and now it's a year later, year plus, and we're still having a conversation about things not matching and whatever. And I know it takes a big vote for everyone to vote, but I'm thinking if we never start that process, we're gonna be living with these same things for years and years and years. So can we make a project, a concentrated effort, now that we have Forrest, a lawyer on the board?
Don't have Forrest on.
To help us make sure that the
That's
language.
absolutely,
That's
my malpractice carrier would have a cow.
Okay.
And I bill $250 an hour. I'm a volunteer here as well.
Okay, well, if we can't use.
You
the
cannot.
skills that we use to the table for this, at least it should be considered to rewrite and clarify and clean them up. So that it's not this constant battle of, well, read it here and it conflicts it over here and it's blah, blah, blah here. I mean, that's what the whole 4C got us in trouble about, right?
you are nominated the chairperson of the committee.
Congratulations. Well, I would say yes. I would say.
I will
yes,
tell
but
you.
I can't read them as much as I say, I would not be beneficial.
No,
with that thing.
Laura is good at that, so. What I would suggest is grab a section of the covenants and and go through like either one way or the other, go through the bylaws and see if that paragraph has anything existing in the covenants. Because this is what Ted asked us to do. He wanted to scrap the whole thing and start over. But we're gradually through time, like this all in ballot, we're gonna have to touch 4 or 5 different things, and it's gonna have to. You know, this eliminates, if we pass this, it changes this and deletes that and adds this, so. If you got time to do it, me and Deb started it and we just got.
She said last year she would totally get on that.
Who?
Christine.
Oh.
She was, I forgot what job she has, but it matches enough. with
So the key is, first off, finding the duplication.
Right.
Are the, what's the word I'm looking for, the one that says A and the other one that says B, so the disconnect.
Contradiction.
Yeah, contradiction in the bylaws versus the covenants. Hell, there's even contradictions in the covenants to the covenants.
Right.
So.
Ken had a good point, about the one ballot item being an overall kind of thing and not a specific thing. You remember your ballot item.
More global.
Yeah, more global.
It wasn't restricted to just that.
And even your suggestion about, let's not say cash and fees, you know, payment, so it doesn't lock us into.
More. Right.
So there's more generic, ongoing and long-term and not tweaking every word as words start changing their.
Had the
meanings.
covenants been written with that in mind, the global, that's what you use a rules manual for to fit in the cracks. But yeah, if you need help, I'll be more than willing to help, as long as you're buying dinner and.
They don't wait, one of them is more like, this is the corporation and this is what it is, the other one is, this is how to run.
Right.
And that's how they really should, they don't supersede each other, they shouldn't duplicate one another, they're just 2 completely different articles. And I don't think the people who wrote them initially.
Well, it's much simpler to manage it, because if you don't have to worry about finding, you know, when it's should be here and now you gotta duplicate it here. And it's, I mean.
Thanks, Becky.
I'll just say this, I did ask Laura to see if she was aware of any tool that could compare the bylaw and what's replicated But I mean, all these tools seem to go off word, not phrases, not paragraphs, and I mean, it's really a difficult task, because you have to read the bylaw. Then read all the covenant to make sure it's not in the covenant. To clean it up, then you got the rules manual, then you got the ACC manual, then you have all our forms. You know, from it, which is, you know, it's a monster. And I don't know that there's any computer software stuff that's readily available, so.
No more questions.
We're talking to ourselves now.
Go to the record, you know.